Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. Yeah. Thank you, folks, so much for joining us on another crazy, action-packed adventure that we call Crime and Sports. And it is just as crazy this week as it is every week.
You bet.
Thank you, folks, so much. And thank you especially for your iTunes reviews this week. As always, they mean the world to us. Like we say, it's not our fault. It's iTunes and their funky algorithm. So please get on that. Give us 5 stars. Just say you're following instructions, following directions.
Yeah.
It's not for our ego.
No.
We have to feed the algorithm. That's what it is. It's a monster to feed. So please do that. Thank you especially to everyone on Patreon and PayPal this week.
My Christ.
We have a long list of producers to talk about later on that are favorite people in the entire world. So thank you, folks. If you want to help us out, if you want to donate to the show, you can do that very, very easily by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports, and you can leave a donation there, or you can go to PayPal if you want to make a one-time donation using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com.
That's right.
Crazy story this week. Also, go to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your merchandising needs. There's the link on there. You can also, there's a link to all the donations on there. Tickets for live shows, all that type of stuff. So head on over there.
There's like 7 left.
Yes, there's like 7 left. Yeah. Be careful. By the time you hear this, it will be Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, and Nashville, and some of those are sold out. Yeah. So I don't know. Check it out. Do your best. Yeah. We are going to do our best to have a lot of energy in this episode, even though, full disclosure, we are in a hotel room in Seattle.
We are.
It is currently 1:56 in the morning, and we just finished doing 2 live small-town murder shows back to back, and then met 200 people, and then came back to the hotel and plugged the mics in.
Right.
So if our voices are a little weak, if things start to go, it's literally, we're exhausted. We haven't slept, and this is our 3rd show of the night.
The last I got.
It is. But we're excited because it's Crime and Sports, and that's always fun.
So great.
It's always fun. There's never, it's just a good time, and we can't wait. And let's kick it off right now with our superstar of the evening, obviously, or of the middle of the night in this case, Steve Foley.
All right.
He's a football player.
Early morning.
There's a couple Steve Foleys. This Steve Foley in particular was born September 11th, 1975.
Oh, no.
So he got his birthday fucked up pretty good there. That sucks. His 26th birthday was no fun.
That's the worst.
We'll say. He's from Little Rock, Arkansas, and he grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas. And this is funny because we just did last week he was Mr. Arkansas. So like it's odd that we keep getting these Arkansas based cases. It's weird in Crime and Sports we seem to go through phases of like it'll be a shitload of guys from Detroit or Michigan, and then it's a bunch of guys from Arkansas. It's very, and we don't do that on purpose. We look at the stories.
It turns out that way.
We look at the stories, and then somehow they're in that place that we ended up in before.
I always feel bad for people whose birthday is 9/11. Like,
it sucks.
I think, have I told you that Bad Puddle's birthday was 9/11?
Yes, right. She deserves it, sounds
and
like.
She was my 9/11.
There
so
you go.
Works out.
That's funny.
It's very similar.
My daughter's birthday was the 7th, and we took her to her first doctor's appointment on 9/11.
Jesus.
It was super fucking weird.
My daughter's is the 9th.
It was like at 9 a.m. too, so it was like, this shit was still like, what's going on? And the buildings were still, it was crazy.
The shit's smoldering, and you're like, I just want fucking vaccinations.
Yeah, like, is she okay? Is everything all right? She was premature and everything else, so it was tough. Anyway, moving on here. He went to high school at Hall High School in Little Rock. Played football. I believe he did track as well. And a lot of the football guys will do that to stay in shape. They make them do they do shot put and shit like that. He's a linebacker and a big son of a bitch, 255 pounds, 6'3". He's a big guy, and a big aggressive linebacker too.
That's a lot of man.
He's a lot of man, and he's one of those dudes that hits hard and was he's out there playing with malice. You know what I mean?
He's angry about it.
Some of those linebackers just tackle you, and some of those guys look like
they're aiming to hurt.
Look like you push their mother down, and they're coming for you.
Right.
You know, it's really strange. He went to Hall High School, like I said. In addition to him, also Leslie O'Neal, if you remember the old Chargers defensive end for years, really good one. I think he was number 91. He also played for the Rams and the Chiefs. Leslie O'Neal went to that high school also, which is interesting.
At the same time?
Not at the same time. Not at the exact same time. Similar time periods though, but not at the exact. Actually, no, I'm sorry. He was way before Leslie O'Neal. Leslie O'Neal was 1986, I believe.
Okay.
It was when he played there.
Foley was there long before.
In the 90s. He was there.
Long after.
He was there right after. I think O'Neal left, and then I think 2 classes later, Foley came in type of thing. And then a couple other guys who played from that you wouldn't really know. Offensive lineman Albert Crawford, who played for New England in 1990.
No
you know
idea.
him?
No.
Exactly. He was an all-conference selection, all-state selection, and all-American selection in high school.
Really?
He was one of these highly recruited guys. We have some of these guys that are walk-ons, and this guy was he was a stud, surefire type of guy. Yeah, I mean, all conference, all state, all American.
Undrafted is my favorite.
I love those stories.
I love those stories so much.
Those are the best stories.
Fucking greatest.
Those guys, nobody fucking wanted them.
So hard.
Nobody wanted them. They had to fight just to try out and just to go through all that with everybody not giving a shit about you.
It's the greatest word ever.
It's like being a comedian.
Yeah.
It's like no one cares lick about you. Nothing about you.
And comic clubs that you're auditioning to get passed at, to be regular at, have already seen you.
Yes. And they've seen you before.
Right.
And
they're
you get better.
done with you.
That's the thing. And that's, sometimes they might see you when you're doing it 2 years and you're not as good as you want to be. And then in your 5th year, they're like, yeah, that guy sucks. And you're like, no, much better now. And that happes too.
And then you pay money to get into a contest, and then they finally like you.
Jesus Christ. I am telling you guys, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If you are thinking about becoming a stand-up comic, if that thought's been kicking around your head, people say you're funny around the office or whatever, our advice is to, as quickly as you can, kill yourself.
Or at minimum, buy mouse traps and put your balls in them.
Yeah, just torment yourself. There's other ways to do it that are less anguishing.
Oh, yeah.
And even if you're doing well, it's horrible and a horrible thing. So don't do that. Don't do comedy.
Fucking hardest thing.
You're better off with brain damage as a linebacker. Yeah. He also played tight end in college, in high school, as most of these guys who are absolute studs go both ways, because you're not going to have the best athlete on your team on the field.
Right.
Fuck that. Catch the ball now. You're fine. Yeah. Tackle that guy, then go on the other side and catch that shit. In college, he played for the University of Louisiana Monroe.
Okay.
He ends up going to, which is a small school.
Idea where that is.
It's in Monroe, Louisiana.
Okay.
It's a small school. It's funny too. It used to, when he played for it wasn't even Louisiana Monroe. So that tells you these small schools, when they change names, you don't hear like Michigan changing names.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Notre Dame has been Notre Dame.
Right.
That's who they are. They're not going to change names halfway through.
Michigan's in Ann Arbor, right?
Yes, Michigan. I believe. Yeah, because the other one is in Flint or
no, it's over there in Lansing.
Lansing.
Yeah.
Is it Lansing, Michigan
I think it's
State?
Lansing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Michigan State in the capital. That would make sense.
They should, but they're never calling it fucking Ann Arbor. It's not the Ann Arbor Wolverines.
They're goddamn Michigan. They started out as Northeast Louisiana University. Mm-hmm. That's what when he was playing for them, they were, and they apparently this school, the enrollment increased a lot it was a very small school in like the 70s, and then from the 70s on, like, enrollment went crazy, and it was, I think, being accredited helped. In 1969, it granted doctoral degrees for the first time.
Jesus.
And that was the first time it happened there, so that made them like a legit college at that point. I think before that they were just kind of, I see a bunch of trailers in a field.
Getting a doctorate in Louisiana, That's not. That doesn't seem like it's worth much anywhere else.
A doctorate from Northeast Louisiana University. That's going to be tough to stroll into Princeton and ask for a fucking teaching job there.
It's going to be tough to stroll into anywhere and be like, I'd love a residency as your pediatrician. Fucking no.
That's ridiculous.
I won't let you tell me what's wrong with this mouse.
No. And they 1999, they changed the name. So when he was there the whole time, they were Northeast Louisiana University, and then they're University of Louisiana Monroe now. Some other people that went there, not a whole lot. Tim McGraw went there.
Really?
If you're a country guy, I know you are, and you know that.
I know who he is, but his music is shit.
Yeah, he's
fucking garbage.
I hate that fucking. I hate that.
It's just
kind of
whiny
music.
It's whiny.
I don't like much, but
yeah, it's just it's so hard to describe it. I mean, a long time ago, he still seemed a little bit like what real country is, and now it's just.
Doesn't he sing like shit about his kids and shit and fucking being a Christian? Is he a Christian guy?
He has a song with Faith Hill that they sing together about they need each other like their Uncle Tom in Oklahoma needs rain or whatever the guy's name is. But the point is, like,
you've got to be kidding me.
But how do you both have a cousin with the same name that lives in Oklahoma that needs rain? You two are cousins and need to stop fucking, Tim and Faith.
They must be fucking. Right. That's true. And you know what? Just don't do entertainment shit with your spouse at all. That said, listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie I make with my wife, Sarah Hunt, and we have a really good time, and it's fun. So we make fun of bad romantic comedies. Other football players that came from here.
But they don't sing about their cousins.
No, we definitely don't.
They mutually have.
We fucking complain a lot.
So weird.
Other players that went here, Marty Booker, the old Bears receiver. Okay. I remember him, number 86. Stan Humphries, the old quarterback. I remember him very well. Roosevelt Potts, I think, was an offensive line. Or was he a fullback? I think he was a fullback. Bubby Brister.
Cunt.
The answer to John Elway. Bubby Brister. I had to make sure I put him in there for you.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
He's the answer.
It's
right
just
there.
so depressing to see that name on the back of a jersey.
And the current Super Bowl champion head coach, Doug Peterson.
Is that
also
right?
an alumni of this university.
How about that?
Not bad. Also, Ben Sheets and Chuck Finley, baseball players.
Very cool.
So Ben Sheets and Chuck Finley. And so that's who you get there. And a basketball player named Christy Curry, who is not related to Steph Curry or Del Curry or any of those Currys. Yeah. She's a different Curry that coaches basketball.
WNBA?
I believe she coaches in college, if I'm not mistaken, at this point.
I believe you.
Foley sits out his first year at Louisiana Monroe. I couldn't figure out what this is. Under the old Prop 48 system. I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't know if that's a... I have no idea what that is. Why? If that's just the technical term for redshirting a freshman, or what it is. But after that, from his sophomore, junior, senior year, he is a force to be reckoned with. I mean, he's a beast. This guy. Everything he holds a lot of the records. He holds single season records for sacks and tackles for losses in his senior year.
How about that?
Sacks 18.5 in college. That is insane.
Yeah,
that's an NFL guy playing against Division II. Shitheads.
No joke.
18.5 is, you only play a fucking 11 games for Christ's sake. That's insane. That's more than a sack a game. You're killing it.
There are guys in the NFL. I mean, granted, it's an entirely different playing field, but they were getting 9 and they're like being celebrated.
They're making fucking
over 16 games.
They're getting a $40 million signing bonus for that,
and the franchise tag.
Yeah, and they're getting the top 5 average salary or whatever it is. And he also holds the record there for tackles for a loss with 26.5 in 1997. That's fucking insane.
Do they count sacks as tackle for loss?
I believe they do.
Okay.
No, do they? No, I don't think they do.
No,
I think tackles for losses are different. Sack is a total. So I mean, that's just
that means he's grabbing
running backs, crushing
running backs, and screen passes to wideouts.
This guy is in the backfield.
Yeah,
he's a pain in the ass. He's always in the backfield. You're putting a running back in to try to block him. You're sending another. You're pulling a guard. Right. So 1997, that's his senior year. That happens. 1997, he also has a daughter.
Oh,
because, you want to do that. Might as well have one super young.
In
college. Jesus Christ. Has a daughter. He also set in-game marks during the 97 season. They beat University of Central Florida 45-41 one game, and he just basically terrorized Dante Culpepper.
Really?
If you remember, as an NFL quarterback, former, and a humongous giant beast of a person.
Was he 6'4"?
He's 6'6".
Really?
He's 6'6".
Jesus.
He was 265, 270 pounds.
Hard to bring him down.
He's the size of an offensive tackle in the 80s, basically. He would have been a tackle and pretty fast, and he sacked him 5.5 times that game.
In one game.
Just absolutely owned his ass. Owned his ass. He was first team All-Independent, because I guess that's the league they're in college in his senior year in 97. First team All-Louisiana, 97 All-Louisiana Defensive MVP. Like we said, record holder for sacks, and most sacks in a game, most sacks in a season, tackles for losses, record holder for tackles, most tackles for a loss in a game with 5.5. And so he's a monster.
He has
in college.
like
Killing
cheat numbers.
Yeah, he's got you pumped a guy up in Madden.
Right.
Like you went into the edit and you bumped his ass
Who
up.
gets 5.5 sacks in one game?
That's insanity.
Is that a record?
For him, it was for the school,
right.
for the conference.
That
I believe
seems like it should be a record forever.
That's so much. I want to say in the NFL it's around there too, because I remember Derek Thomas getting it, and I want to say it's 6 in the NFL.
6 in a game.
I want to say it's 6.
That's
but
so much.
It could be in the past few years. I've been so fucking busy with these podcasts.
I understand.
I don't think I could even
I don't
keep
think
track
anybody's
of that
gotten
anymore.
there.
No.
I think it would be talked about.
Huge.
And I sure didn't see it.
Sacks are down, it seems like.
Yeah.
Which is, but
they protect the quarterback.
Well, it seems like quarterbacks get sacked as much, but individual guys aren't as dominant, if that makes sense to me.
Point.
There's no Reggie White. There's no Lawrence Taylor. There's no Bruce Smith. There's no guy who's like, holy shit, you better triple team that guy or he's going to eat your lunch for you.
Some of the guys. Dwight Freeney used to be
was
like
a beast,
that. He just announced retirement. He's done.
He was quick on the step. He wasn't that physical.
Right.
Like Reggie White would just take his arm and bash you off the fucking line and then go kill your quarterback.
That was Peppers, too.
Yeah, LT would throw you down even though you weighed 80 pounds more than him. He would get your balance off and toss you somehow like a sumo wrestler.
Right.
LT was like a sumo with 4.4 speed. He was like a scary guy.
And a lightning bolt earring.
Oh man, and a nose full of cocaine.
Right.
That could only help him. April 18th, 1998 is the NFL draft.
Yeah.
Which exciting time for a guy with 18 and a half sacks, I would imagine. He's expecting to go.
They are doing a red carpet this year.
A red carpet at the draft?
For the draft.
Why?
I don't have any fucking idea.
What do you mean a red carpet? Like they do at award shows?
Yes.
They're having people show up.
They are having these shitbags that have nothing yet walk down a red carpet to go get drafted.
They used
to
just take them into a back room to sit there around a table with their parents.
Oh, they are making money off it this year.
Wow,
they're turning like a fucking Geico event, some company's event. It's ridiculous.
I love the draft, but there's a happy medium.
Yeah,
like if you watch the 30 for 30, like from Elway to Marino, and you see that, or there's another special about like the I want to say it's like the 74 draft.
Yeah.
This was just smoky room, a bunch of guys sitting there. You'd write a guy's name down, hand it to somebody. You had your team's helmet on your desk, and you were like, "Yeah, we'll take that guy in the second round." Like no anything. Now and then that was too little. And now they're having a red carpet, which is too much. I feel like there's a happy medium there.
I like the 30 for 30. I think it's 30 for 30 of Aaron Rodgers' draft when he slipped so goddamn
that was
far.
amazing.
That's a fucking great one too.
Well, I watched that draft live.
Really?
And I remember
the poor kid.
I remember every second of that because I found it fascinating.
It's hysterical watching him panic.
They were talking about him being the number 1 overall pick, and then they were talking about top 3, and then it just kept
going.
And then it got to a point like after 6 or 7 where they were like, none of these teams need quarterbacks.
Right.
Like none of these, they have needs.
Fine.
They all have needs, and they're all can fulfill these needs.
Right.
None of them are going to pick him. Holy shit! What's
ain't the guy for them?
How far is he going to go?
And then
and he just had to sit there and eat it.
And then a team that has Brett Favre, and they're like, they don't really need a quarterback, and they end up taking him, which is pretty awesome.
Smart on their part, and the best thing that could have fucking happened to him to be able to sit for 3 years. But obviously, I mean, maybe he would have been great off out of the start, but I doubt it. It's just that's more rare.
Yeah.
But that was fascinating.
Those
if you
things
ever,
are so much fun to watch.
They are. That draft was wild.
I just don't want to watch fireworks for somebody that you don't know anything about. You know what I mean? I don't want this shit.
Yeah.
Stop this.
Oh, hold on. You're an offensive guard from the University of fucking, or from Louisiana Tech, and I'm supposed to get excited about you.
Backflips for this shit.
You're a 21-year-old kid who all he's done is block other 21-year-old kids for at a fucking second-tier school. And I'm supposed to get pumped for you.
Now you're going to try to put a body on James Harrison?
Yeah,
Fuck out
let's
of
see
here.
what happens. I think he retired too.
He probably will.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, he played this past year for the Patriots.
He did, which was weird as shit.
Stupid weird.
He was 53 years old, I believe. He was, this draft is at the theater at MSG, which is not the arena. It's like I think it's like the Felt Forum.
Room.
They have a bunch of side rooms. That's a huge building with a bunch of things going on.
Makes sense.
This was a fun draft because this was another draft. I remember these were the drafts when they still were on in the morning.
Yeah.
I remember setting my alarm for this draft to watch it because I wanted to watch it so bad because this is the Ryan Leaf Peyton Manning draft.
Okay.
And I'm one of the idiots who was like, Ryan Leaf's going to be so much better. Like, he's so much better. Like, he's got he throws the fucking deep ball so much better than Manning, and Manning's, he's just, it's all Ryan Leaf. Like, I was one of those guys that, like, stupid cults. You guys are morons.
You blew it.
You blew it, guys. I actually said that, like, they totally just blew this. Like, I'm thinking, what if they just picked him because of his name?
How could they?
Fucking, wow. That's why I'm not a general manager of an NFL team, apparently. So, number one overall is Peyton Manning, who, if you've lived on planet Earth or in the country of America, I don't know outside of America, but if you've lived in the country of America for the last 15 years,
quite well aware,
at any time and turned the TV on, you've seen Peyton Manning try to sell you fucking pizza and insurance and any other goddamn thing he can get his hands on.
I think he's being investigated now because
of the stock thing.
Yeah, because he dumped all his pizza shit.
I saw the article and they're like, Peyton Manning, and I'm like, well, he's going to get investigated for that. That's what Martha Stewart got in trouble for.
Exactly.
Well, she got in trouble for lying about it, but you can't do that. That's called insider trading, and I believe that's probably illegal.
Matter of fact, it is.
And now, this is a fun draft. So if you're not a football fan, you don't know any of these, look some of these people up because they're disasters. This is a disaster. Some great Hall of Fame players and some absolute busts that are hilarious. Number 2 overall is Ryan Leaf. Obviously, Ryan Leaf, who, if you don't know him, I suggest you go listen to, I believe, episode 13 of Crime and Sports, and you can catch up on all of his antics. He is probably one of the biggest top 3 draft busts in the history of the NFL. He freaked the fuck out on reporters and was a general complete. His nudnickery ran
very well documented.
Deep nudnickery waters there, and ended up getting busted for pills and forgery and burglary.
And entering 4 pills.
With patent leather shoes on, I believe, which is what distinguished him. What the fuck are you doing robbing people with patent leather shoes on, you goddamn weirdo?
He's Ryan Leaf. Yeah,
that's true. That's one of the better decisions of his life, as a matter of fact. Now, they had to trade around, too. The number 2 pick was originally Arizona, and they wanted to make sure, San Diego wanted to make sure they got Ryan Leaf. So they traded up, and the Cardinals at number 3 end up drafting Andre Wadsworth. Do you remember him from Florida State? Huge bust. He had knee problems. He had a microfracture surgery, and then never really was the same again. Number 4, future Hall of Famer Charles Woodson.
How do the Cardinals
Nice job, Cardinals.
I mean, I understand they were fulfilling a need in the fucking line, but
top 4, there's 2 Hall of Famers and 2 absolute busts, and
Cardinals have one.
They picked one of the busts, obviously.
That's just how they've done it for years.
Even the fucking Raiders knew to pick Charles Woodson, and they're a goddamn mess, especially back then. Woodson was the 97 Heisman Trophy winner, obviously. He's Christ, didn't he play till last year?
Yeah, he might still be on a roster.
Absolutely. That wouldn't surprise me if he was in somebody's camp this year. Curtis Innis, number 5 overall, the Bears running back. Total bust again. I believe Penn State he went to. Then Grant Windstrom, Kyle Turley from the Saints. That's a good pick. Greg Ellis for the Cowboys turned out to be a good pick. Fred Taylor, great running back for the Jackson. He's one of the
He's stuck around for so fucking long.
For every running back, they're like, well, he's 28. Time for him to go. Him and Frank Gore just will be signed until they stop. Yeah, they're like left-handed relief pitchers. These guys, they just keep signing them the fuck up.
And they run the most like aggressive way. They head down right
crazy.
into the center.
Yeah, Gore wasn't a guy who avoided contact like Emmett Smith.
Around.
He wasn't a guy who slid off of you or anything. He'd just blow his shoulder on you.
Right.
Taylor was more of a speed guy, which is even more impressive that he could last because he was like a slasher that he could stay
right
around.
through the middle.
He was pretty good. If you could find a hole, you can find a hole. That's the thing. If you have vision. If you know nothing about football, this is boring. But I'm sorry, we're going to get to tons of craziness.
He was 5'2". Taylor, he's so small.
No, he's not that. He's not like Napoleon Kaufman.
I think he's 5'6" though. For real,
man, that's possible. Yeah. It's tough to bring a guy like. Yeah, I'm sure he is because Sproles is that small, and they make a huge deal out of it. He's also 170 pounds,
right.
So
and also I think he retired.
I think so. I mean, but when he was around, they always made a huge deal out of how tall he was.
Right. How tall he wasn't.
Dwayne Starks to Baltimore. Trey Thomas, who was a great player for the Eagles. Takeo Spikes went to the Bengals. Keith Brooking to the Falcons. Yeah. So there's some great players here in the first round. Vonnie Holliday to the Packers. Yeah. These are a bunch of great players that the Cardinals could have had and chose Andre Wadsworth instead.
Christ.
I get the Chargers picking Ryan Leaf. You had to. Yeah. You couldn't just say, nah, we're not going to get. They had no quarterback, and you're just going to go, nah, that's fine. What if Leaf was a Hall of Famer and you passed him up? You didn't trade up one fucking spot. Randy Moss at number 21.
Yeah.
Another future Hall of Famer and a hell of a fucking one of the best receivers I've ever seen play. Donovan Darius came out there. Alan Fenica.
Is Drew Brees older than Ryan Leaf, or is he younger?
Younger.
Is he younger?
Drew Brees came in, I believe, he came in the same draft as Tomlinson because the Chargers ended up getting Brees and Tomlinson
in the same draft.
Same round.
Wow.
In the beginning and end of the round because they were trading with the Giants.
Brees is the oldest looking quarterback in the league.
He's always looked old. He looks terrible.
So old.
He looks terrible. His hair is all. He's got Costner hair.
Yeah.
It's like Kevin Costner hair. It's just all wispy and shit. He can't help it.
He looks worse than Ryan Leaf, and Ryan Leaf was a pillhead.
I was going to say Ryan Leaf's been on opiates for the last fucking 20 years and in and out of jail and shit.
That's awful.
And that's not great.
Ryan Leaf has spent years in prison.
He really has. He keeps going. Now he's good now apparently. He's the type of guy where I don't believe it for a minute. Because he's been good now about 6 fucking times, and he's one of these guys who's a narcissist and a scammer, and I feel like him going around telling people to go to rehab and shit like that is his way of it's his way of trying to mitigate the fact that he's going to fuck up again. Yeah. So he's trying to go over the other. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he's no Malone. You know what I'm saying? He's not a Mandy Malone situation where we're like
his speech isn't even.
I see what happens. She's not a bad narcissistic asshole person who treated everybody poorly.
Her speech is to help others. This is like.
Look how great I am for helping others.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. It's totally different.
And I've seen
a fucking
clips
narcissist.
Of it.
He's a goddamn narcissist. Period.
Yeah.
That's it.
He thinks he's better than you. He got caught.
I feel like he has a very like Jake the Snake had a similar vibe to him, where it's just like a little like whenever they even weren't on drugs, they have that drug addict behavior of even when Ryan Leaf was 18 and probably wasn't on drugs, he had that fucking behavior. It's in them.
It's an arrogance.
It's
just a complete arrogance.
And then a narcissism to follow.
Speaking, real quick update: Joey Barton just got
that's amazing.
Got a job coaching.
That's great.
So that story will continue.
When he gets arrested and fucks up and gets fired again, we'll give you an update on that one
because it's happening. And the other update is Jake the Snake was assaulted
by Davey Boy Smith's son.
What the fuck?
It was one of our listeners actually was there for that.
Okay. Is it a work?
He got us we don't know. He got us an autograph. And he was going to mention the episode, he said, and blah, blah, blah. But he said that Jake had just got coffee thrown in his face by Davey Boy Smith's son.
Okay.
And they didn't want to piss him off and say, hey, did you see those guys making fun of you for fucking 3 hours also on top of it?
Now they got that Colombian roast soaking in your eyes. Let me tell you about some more humiliating shit.
He tweeted that out to us, and I was like, holy shit. Now it's like all over the place that it's like it's got to be some, I mean, Jake's not wrestling, though. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. And it doesn't make Davey Boy Smith's kid look desirable to hire either, that he's assaulting old men, half-crippled old men who barely can move even with yoga.
Right. So, the guy that looked worse than Sergeant Slaughter when he wrestled. And now...
Worse than Sergeant Slaughter.
Now his hairline is fucked up.
Dude, Sergeant Slaughter looked like that in the 70s. The way he looked in the 90s, that's how he looked in the 70s, like just a bald old man. But
somebody was eating breakfast, and Jake the Snake was there eating breakfast also, and he looks like Ron Jeremy, a tall Ron Jeremy,
a thinned out Ron Jeremy, like Ron Jeremy has an older brother,
but an aged thinned. It's not like
no. It's definitely like his whole, not only his hair, his whole body's wispy.
Right, gravity is just making his whole everything wispy.
He's just a weird sinewy dude. He's got that like skinny top of the chest that kind of goes like an older guy, and then it gets bigger toward his gut. Very strange. So this draft was a bit, even like third round, you could have got Amon Green, who was a great running back for a long time.
He went the third round.
Yeah, third round. So I mean, this was a kind of a stacked draft with you had to, but it was like a minefield draft. You had to know what you're doing.
Yeah, you had to navigate it well.
Charlie Batch there. Remember Charlie Batch, the backup quarterback there? Sorry, I'm having a lot of fun looking over the 1998 draft.
He got him a ring.
Oh, who did?
Charlie Batch. With Pittsburgh.
With Pittsburgh. Yeah, Charlie Batch went around back up to the stars there. And finally, in the third round, with the 75th overall pick, the Bengals choose Steve Foley, the pick before Amon Green, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Right before Amon Green. So not bad out of Northeast Louisiana. Okay. Everybody else is like Big 12, Big East is their division. He's from Independent.
That's pretty impressive.
So not too bad. Yeah. He's the 91st pick of the draft was Brian Greasy, another friend of yours.
Is that the last pick?
No. That's like hundreds in. But
he's a twat.
91st pick, and then the 92nd pick was Hines Ward.
Is that
so,
right?
Yeah, that's how far down he went there. Hines Ward went with
a Hall of Fame career that far late.
That's crazy, right? Very end of the third round. Yeah. So 1998 season with the Cincinnati Bengals. Bruce Coslett is the head coach. Do you remember him?
I don't.
Blonde-haired adult, which is a bad sign right away on a man. With like,
I do know what he looked like.
But it's not just that he had blonde hair, because that's fine. He had blonde hair, and he had the haircut of a fucking sixth grader.
He had a coif.
He had like a bowl cut kind of pushed to the side. It was a weird haircut, like Prince Valiant in Spaceballs. Prince Valiant in Spaceballs. Like he had that haircut, but then he pushed it kind of to the side. He was a douche. Plus, he was a Jets coach, and he was so terrible as a Jets coach. I used to love to watch the Jets lose. That was fun as fuck when they were awful. It is. Yeah. When the Bruce Coslett, Rich Kotite years, they were a lot of fun. I loved that a lot. He plays linebacker for them, Steve Foley does. 10 games he plays in his rookie year. Only starts one, but he's a rookie. You got to work your way into the damn lineup. 2 sacks and 11 tackles, so limited playing time. And
they put you in a package that you're useful in.
Exactly. And your special team, and I'm sure you're running down, trying to blow guys up on the kickoffs. This is the team where their quarterbacks were Neil O'Donnell and Jeff Blake.
Oh, my God.
I think Jeff Blake was the starter. They used to lose every week, but I remember you'd watch NFL primetime, remember at night and for the highlights before you'd just get them on Twitter. And it was always these bombs that Blake would throw to Carl Pickens. He would just run back and throw it up in the air as far as he can, and Pickens would come down with it. And they had Kajana Carter, the bust running back, who I believe they drafted him in the top 3 from Penn State. And the first time he ever touched the ball in a preseason game, blew his fucking knee out immediately. Took 3 steps and destroyed his knee, and he was done.
That's so depressing.
He came back, but he was never the same. He was a speed guy. They had Takeo Spikes they picked that year, Sam Shade. So they upped their team a little bit, but that team goes 3-13 that year. That was bad Bengals times.
3 wins.
When you sit there, if you're a football fan, you sit there and wonder how Marvin Lewis hasn't been fired in 15 fucking years, never going past a certain point. Because before that, they used to go 3-13 every goddamn year. You're like, he can never win the big one. They're like, he's 9-7, he's in the playoffs. Good enough. He's not fucking 3-13. We'll take it.
We're in.
Jesus Christ.
And in that division, too, they've got such a tough division. I mean, then it probably wasn't, but with the Steelers, Ravens, Bengals, Browns, the Steelers and Ravens are almost always in the playoffs.
They're always
one
tough.
of them
They're
wins,
always
and
tough.
then the other one
Yeah.
somehow gets a wild card, or there's just
somebody
nobody
goes
else.
10-6 and doesn't make the playoffs at
so
all.
hard.
That's a tough division. 1999, he has a son now.
Okay.
Also,
Now he's got 2 kids.
Now he's got 2 kids, which is he has a son with a woman named Priscilla Robinson. He has a
20
son,
years old.
20 years old. Has a son. No, he's 24 now.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's
You're right.
right.
Yeah.
And he's in the NFL. He's pulling down dough. So go ahead and impregnate whoever you want. I guess at this point, I don't fucking know.
Do your thing.
Do your thing. Stick it where you got to stick it. It's his son's name is Cameron, by the way.
Okay.
So he doesn't name him after himself. So right away, I'm like, all right, good for you. Maybe there's hope for you guys here. I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, this is going to be an anomaly.
Right.
This is going to be a guy that I thought was a bad guy, and then it all turns out that it was a mistake after the junior thing. And then the very next thing that happens is in April 1999, he is arrested in I'm not going to say this right, so I'm just going to Ouachita Parish.
OUA?
OUA, that's what I mean. Ouachita Parish in April after failing to appear in court for child support hearing. He ends up being released on $2,000 bond. You're in the NFL, dude.
He's already a deadbeat dad.
You're in. Just pay your fucking child support. So he's arrested, released on bond.
Yeah.
The next day, the very next morning, this is within 16 hours of this being arrested for this and being bailed out on $2,000. He's arrested again by the Louisiana State Police, who charge him with driving while intoxicated and making an improper turn. This was like 8 o'clock in the morning.
He went and got drunk after getting released.
Yeah, got released, got shit hammered, was still drunk at 8 o'clock in the morning, makes a fucking bad turn. They pull him over. Now you got a DUI. Now you've been arrested twice in 2 days, which you kind of look like an asshole.
A little bit.
And you kind of look like a member of the Cincinnati Bengals, basically, because that's what ended up fucking happening back then all the time.
Right.
He ends up pleading guilty to the drunken driving, and he receives probation for it.
Okay.
At that point, they also enroll him in the NFL alcohol treatment program, which for his sake, would have been great if he stayed in, because that's a big problem of his is stupid shit while boozing.
I know the feeling.
That's what. Well, not this
Not like
stuff.
that, but I know the feeling with dumb shit. You wake up and go, "Did I really do that?
Am I that stupid?
Why do I own this now? Where did I steal this from? Where did I accidentally, or
why
probably
did I gamble
quite
this?
on purpose? Right.
Yeah. Why did I gamble all
Why
of that?
don't I have money, and where did all of this shit come from?
And who is this next to me?
Right.
And why did I give her money?
Right.
Oh, yeah, she's a hooker. That's why. Okay, never mind. So, 1999 is Cincinnati again. Bruce Coslett again. 3-13 to keep your job.
How do you do that?
That's the Bengals
That's
for
how
you.
bad they were.
That's the Bengals. This is Jeff Blake establishes himself as the starting quarterback, but this is the year they draft Achilles Smith, who's a colossal bust.
Yeah.
Colossal, huge bust. Do you remember him?
No.
You don't remember him? I think he played it. I think he was Oregon. No, not Oregon. Oh, my God. Now I'm drawing a complete blank.
Was it Pac-10?
I think it was a Pac-10 school, but
Okay.
he was a black dude quarterback, looked really good out of college, athletic, good arm, had all the tools, and was just awful.
And what year was this?
This was 99 draft.
Yeah,
this was the year when Donovan McNabb was drafted and all those guys, and they drafted Achilles Smith, I believe, a spot above Donovan McNabb.
Ouch.
Not a smart move,
No.
because Achilles Smith was never really an established starter, and McNabb was, I believe, going to the Hall of Fame at some point here. So once again, picking busts over Hall of Famers, not a smart move.
Keep it going.
His second year, though, 16 games played, 16 started. So he is the line. That's his position at linebacker now. 34 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries.
Great.
So he's active. He's very active. He does exactly what they need out of him, which is to
Cause the ball carrier.
Cause havoc, hit people hard, make them think twice about coming in his direction, because he's going to fucking own them.
Is he middle or left or right?
I think he plays some middle, and then he moves around a little bit too, because it is the Bengals. Because then they got Takeo Spikes, who's the middle linebacker there.
That guy was so
they
good.
move him over. Yeah, he's another guy who was playing until
Played for
recently.
the Giants too, didn't he?
I don't think so. I think he was one of the Bills. He went to the Bills for years after that. Yeah, that was his big signing. He saw blue. I know. He saw blue and red.
I saw red, white, blue, New York.
Saw your brain working there. Saw it happening. So this year, the team again goes 4-12 this year.
Okay.
And Bruce Goslett's like, that's a game. Yeah. That's an improvement right there. I should get a fucking raise. What do you say?
Fuck keeping my job. I want an extension.
Extension, a raise? I deserve it. What the fuck are we doing?
Momentum.
Listen, everybody, we're moving in the right direction. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. But as far as I stand, as far as I see on this team, we have a bust of a quarterback, one more win than last year when was probably the most embarrassing year of any of our lives, as we could all say.
And it was the same quarterback last year, so we're moving up, and I'm making him better.
And if we're gonna, I'm making him better. And on top of that, I still have the haircut of a 12-year-old. So, it's fine, really. I think you should keep me around.
My haircuts are lucky charm.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
Everyone out there should listen to Small Town Murder. You really should, mainly because you never know who's next door. And that's the point of this show, really. You never know who is next door. You never know what's going to happen on Small Town Murder. That's what makes it so wonderful. The only thing you do know is that people are going to die, and we're probably going to make jokes about it. That's it. That's all we can promise you. We dig into these towns, we see what makes them tick, from local legends to scandals they may have had, and of course, the biggest scandals of all, horrible murders that take place there. And we put our, what I feel is a completely appropriate comedic spin on the whole thing. And you know you need a laugh right now, so get in there, listen to Small Town Murder, follow Small Town Murder on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Small Town Murder early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
And now back to the show. So February 8th of 2000, he ends up being arrested. He is charged with domestic violence, which is not great. He ends up being freed on $750 bond, but this was kind of an ugly scene here. He is 6'3", he's 260 pounds.
It's a big dude.
He's a big goddamn dude. He's arrested. They say he kicked the door open to the apartment where his son and her mother live. So he went over there. Yeah. They're not together, and he kicked the door open.
You can't do that.
That is absolutely not okay. Then what he does is even worse. He then, in front of his son, by the way, grabs the woman by the neck and shoves her up against the wall because she didn't want him to take the boy for pizza. That's why.
So insult to injury, and
my son's gonna eat pizza, motherfucker.
Like, he will have Chuck E. Cheese.
He will have. So order a pizza and give it to him. Right. What the fuck do you have to? I don't know, and I don't know what games those two play with each other. Whatever it is, you can't kick the door off the hinges and choke her. That's not okay.
I feel the game's playing though, because she's had him thrown in jail for not paying.
Yeah,
and now she's
that might have been the first one actually.
Yeah.
That might have been
really?
Okay. Yeah, that might have been the daughter. That child's a part of the lead.
But she knows that he's been in jail over that, and she's gonna fucking needle the bear.
I mean, and like I said, who knows if they agreed to this time, and then he came and she said, you can't take him.
Right.
Who the fuck knows? Or maybe he just showed up out of nowhere, banging on the door, going, "I'm taking the boy for pizza," and she's like, "It's 12 o'clock. You're not taking him for pizza. He's been sleeping for the last hour, 3 hours."
A guy that's been arrested twice in 24 hours for not paying and then for drunken driving. I could see that playing out that way.
He doesn't seem like the most responsible cat going at this moment in time, and
nor logical.
Right. And those old Bengals teams had a lot of that shit happening. Really, he denies everything. He's I didn't kick the door. I love, by the way, his excuse for this. His excuse was he denies it and he tells the press that the door's been broken for a year. I didn't break it and kick it open. It just opened because it's broken, and then she's trying to blame a broken door on me.
Okay.
This is some bullshit. His attorney said, quote, "I don't think this will be going much further. I feel quite certain everything will pan out. Steve said the door was broken, and we obviously feel we have proof of that." Jesus Christ, man. His lawyer went on to say, "This is an unfortunate situation. He just got back in town to visit his kid like he always does. He did not in any way touch her. When he showed up, she started bad-mouthing him in front of the kid and then slammed the door on him." And, that's what they say happened.
But I thought it was broken.
It's broken.
If it's broken, it's not going to slam.
How did you slam the door on it?
Right.
Yeah, you kicked it. So did she, instead of slamming it, did she push it back up into place and just kind of set it there gently so it looked like it was okay, and then he just gently touched it and it fell over?
Right.
Is that how this worked? I don't think so. Now, his agent here, that's his attorney. I'm sorry, not his agent. It's his agent and his attorney. That's why I kept getting confused. Yeah, he's got his same agent and attorney, which happens sometimes.
It's not a good call, though.
No, I feel like you got to separate that shit because they're going to have conflicting.
There's a conflict of interest in both those situations.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, one should be worried about your affairs and one should be worried about your money.
Right.
And, that
you
should
don't
be your two.
mix both of those.
No, you probably shouldn't. I bet there's a lot of guys that do that. If they just, I trust this guy.
I'm sure that
I don't trust anybody else.
Right. I'm sure that there's dudes that do that and it works out great.
Probably. There's probably. I'm sure if you have the best guy who does that.
But the amount of them that do work out, I guarantee there's 5 to 10 that don't.
Yeah, like I think Lee Steinberg did that shit. And it's like, well, he's a goddamn,
genius.
super agent guy. Now, I love his attorney adds this because this was a rash. The late 90s was a rash of football arrests. Like, this was when everyone was like, hey, what the fuck?
What's going on?
What is happening? Like, it was it shot through the roof at that point. That was with the whole the Viking party boat. Remember that whole thing?
That one is so gross.
That is the funniest goddamn story.
So vile.
Yeah, they have what? How many?
There were more women than players.
Yeah,
it's so nuts.
Oh God, man! Imagine cleaning up after that. Being the boat cleanup guy.
The amount of load that Sharper must leave has to be insane.
That was a party boat, so I mean they had to return that, and someone had to go clean the jizz off of literally every square inch of surface in that fucking place. They're like, how did they get it under the sink?
Right.
How? Who fucks under a sink and busts off? What is happening to you people?
Who got it on the outside of the bow?
Wow. How did you do that?
This is crazy.
I don't know how you got it to hook back down.
Right.
That's what I'm wondering about.
And you got the boat pregnant. What the fuck?
Oh, we're going to have a little boat now. That's good. They're very expensive boats.
It's
so that's
coming with
bad.
a tug.
So he's Newman here, Todd Newman, his agent/attorney, is trying to separate him from the other thuggery that's going on. And he says, quote, "This is nothing like those other football player arrests that we've been reading about. I don't think this will be going any further." So this is nothing like the ones where dudes kick their ex-girlfriend's doors off the hinges and then choke them. This is nothing like that. This is a separate issue. So he's racking up some arrests. He's being a Bengal is what he's doing right now. That's good for you, buddy.
Bengal's gonna Bengal.
You're being a true Bengal. So after all this, on April 7th of 2000, he's arrested outside a Louisiana bar.
Oh, Jesus.
On suspicion of disturbing the peace and being drunk and disorderly.
What are you doing in Louisiana, man? Stay away from home.
Fuck, I know. It's not, Little Rock's his home, but that's where he went to college, which is even fucking worse.
That's basically home now.
It's even worse if it's where you went to college, because it's like
you have no ties there.
That's where everyone just kisses your ass. You go there literally because people, if you go to certain bars, you get free drinks and everyone thinks you're the king.
Right.
And you can go home with whoever you want, I feel like.
Probably.
I mean, I don't know if you want to. If you're,
but they do it.
They do it. Oh, definitely. So, he's ends up being released on bail. It's his 4th arrest in a year. The accusation is that he fired a handgun into the air 10 to 15 times. He shot off 10 to 15 rounds is the accusation.
Lost count after 10.
That is so many fucking bullets fired into the air. That is not okay.
That's a whole magazine.
That's insanity. Like, they're going to come down everywhere.
Yeah.
Someone's going to get hurt by that shit. Like, that's a lot of fucking bullets to fire
You
in the air.
just really upped the chances of killing a little girl.
Oh, outside of a nightclub, too, which is the most stereotypical, cliche
just hood shit.
place to bust off 15 shots into the air is outside a nightclub.
Over what?
To try to scatter some shit. They didn't even know. He came out screaming, they said, and busted off all those shots. The police were summoned to the Tonk 2000 Club was the name of it, that's a terrible fucking name. I don't even know what that is. Is that like
it's stupid?
Tonk 2000.
It doesn't make any sense.
Updated, like I picture like electro fucking country or something, like techno country.
Yuck.
Tonk 2000. He's arrested for disorderly conduct and disturbing the peace.
It's a black neighborhood. They didn't want to put honky on it or
maybe,
something.
yeah.
That's what it is.
That's probably the correct thing here. He was intoxicated.
Of course he was.
And apparently screaming at passing cars that he was being illegally searched by the police after he shot 10, 15 shots into the air.
I believe that's probable cause.
That seems like it. He's released on $700 bail. He lives in Little Rock, so he lives at home, which is
oh my God.
You play for the Bengals. Move to Cincinnati, asshole.
Out of here, man.
Jesus,
I know Cincy sucks, but you're hired there. You have a job there. Live there.
Yeah, and towns also stop honoring people and making them want to come back there.
Right.
Tell them to fucking leave when they come back. Go, look, you're done here.
Right.
Your time has passed.
Put up a plaque that says they have since pushed on.
That's it right there. Yeah, we'll build a little statue for you and everything if you just don't come back and beat the shit out of your wife and drive around drunk and act like a general fucking asshole.
We don't need you anymore. We have your bronze bust.
That's right. So 2000 season, after being arrested 4 times in a year, he's in true Bengal fashion. 2000 season, Coslet starts the season 0-3.
Oh boy!
So they let him go 3-12, and then 3-13, then 4-12, and then they let him come back again.
Yeah.
Think about that. That is what the fuck. You have had 7 wins and 25 losses in the last 2 seasons. You are done.
How bad can you be at your job before they fire you? Because that's fucking terrible.
Resign in shame.
You do your job right a fourth of the time.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
And that's like on Kitchen Nightmares when you're watching Gordon Ramsay and they have like the initial thing, the chef will suck and his kitchen's dirty and his food shit, and he's like, look, okay, we'll clean it up, and the chef's like, I don't know what we were thinking, we were just in a rut, and thank God Chef Ramsay's here to get me out of it, and I'm feeling so much better, and I can't wait to create some delicious food. And then the second they have the next night open, they're a complete fuck up, and their orders are backed up, and they just give up halfway through the shift and go out and smoke for 45 minutes, and then they come in and Gordon's like, how do you think tonight went? And they're like, I mean, it had its bumps, but I think it was pretty good overall.
Ups and downs.
And he's like, no, man, no. And then he just goes, why don't you do the right thing? Have some pride. Have some pride and resign from this. And why don't you do the right thing? Have some pride.
Retain your dignity and walk out of here.
He said, why don't you do the right thing here for these people and just walk? You should be ashamed of yourself. And the guy will just be like, okay, and then he'll just hand in his apron, and that's it.
That's what they should do in the NFL.
That's what they should do in the NFL with Coslet.
Hand in your playbook.
They should have been like, have some dignity. Do you think that you did well enough? And Coslet should have said, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
I'm the worst.
I'm going to go be a coordinator somewhere because I'm not
go
cut out for this.
Cleveland.
He starts the season 0-3, and the Bengals finally pull the trigger.
Okay.
I don't know. I think, like I said, if you did that before the season, maybe you could have salvaged a season.
Right.
But instead, they bring in Dick LeBeau, who was one of the coordinators, a great coordinator, head coach. He has had. He's like Wade Phillips, basically. Like a lot of. I know Wade Phillips ended up winning, but still, amazing defensive coordinator that would go 11-5 and lose in the first round of the playoffs all the time wherever he went.
And Wade Phillips, I don't know if he ever won a Super Bowl as head coach.
That's right.
With Denver, he was a coordinator.
Yeah, that's right.
Too.
He was the coordinator. Yeah, no, he's a great coordinator. And those really good early 2000s San Diego teams, he was defensive coordinator there for a while. Buffalo, he was the head coach, and they were Buffalo.
He was the head coach of Denver for a while, and they shit the bed.
He's such a great coordinator that no matter how bad his head coaching history is, they keep giving him jobs. That's how good of a coordinator he is. It's like, but look how great his defense is. It's like, well, let him stick with that. Why would that make him better at something else?
And he's a great tweeter too. When they won the Super Bowl, because they beat Carolina, and he tweeted, "A little dab will do you, but too many dabs will undo you."
Oh
which was a jab at fucking Cam Newton. It's beautiful. The guy's a poet. That's what happens when you're Bum Phillips' kid.
Oh, my God. I love Bum Phillips.
Bum's one of the greatest that ever happened. And a mouth.
What a lunatic. Well, you're not allowed to wear a 10-gallon hat on the sidelines anymore, I don't think. A powder blue suit and a 10-gallon hat on the sidelines, I think.
And have a fucking sense of humor, too.
Man. Yeah, and then Jerry Glanville tried to be Bum Phillips, kind of. And he's just a crazy son of a bitch. He's like Terry Bradshaw without the Super Bowl rings or talent. Just like a crazy hillbilly who rambles on about shit and sort of knows what he's talking about sometimes, but he's best when you don't know what he's talking about because he's a moron. Right. So
they bring Wade Phillips in to head coach
They bring Dick LeBeau in.
Dick LeBeau. Yeah, that's right.
Head coach after an 0-3 season. Foley has 16 games started in the season, so he plays in every single game, so he's been really solid.
LeBeau's coordinating Pittsburgh now, correct?
I believe so, because he's been all over. He's been in Pittsburgh for a while.
So good in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah. 16 games started for him. 1 interception, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, 4 sacks, and 34 tackles.
That's not bad.
So that's a great season. That's a solid season out of a guy. A third-round draft pick.
That's numbers.
He's not like number 3 overall. This is a third-round draft pick. If this guy if he plays for 5 years, you win.
You know? That's great.
That's terrific. The team, though, goes 4-12. So not terrific.
They win one.
They went 4-9 under LeBeau. That's not great, but it's better than 3-13. And
you're winning one and losing one.
Yeah,
or losing 2.
You're losing 2. That's how it works. You win one, you lose 2. That doesn't sound as good when you put it that way. Now Cincinnati, he's in Cincinnati here. He ends up down in Monroe, Louisiana. He ends up being cleared of the handgun accusation of the firing 10 to 15 shots off into the sky.
They couldn't put the gun in his hand.
This is very shady, and there was a lot of rumors of he's kind of big man around there, and they told this guy to shut the fuck up because, like I said, he was booked on misdemeanor charges. They said that the prosecutor, James Pierre, said that he was initially identified as a suspect by several witnesses, but the witnesses later said they never saw Foley actually with the gun. They heard a bouncer yelling Foley's name and assumed he had the gun, but the bouncer said he was just warning Foley to take cover. Is what it was. So it sounds like he went in and he was like, "Yo, man, I need you to shut the fuck up because I'm in the NFL and you guys live in Monroe, Louisiana, and I'll give you $300. You can pay your trailer off, and we'll call it a fucking wash."
Some people that are around him that are making some money. For this are like, "Listen, you're a bouncer. You recognized an NFL player, right?
Or
that's what you did."
Or his cousin went and said, "I'll fucking I will do drive-bys on your grandmother's house if you don't fucking listen to me.
I will gut you and the honk." Was it the tonk?
I will gut you and the Tonk 2000 nightclub.
By morning.
All that it stands for, damn it, the Tonk 2000. So this ends up being cleared legally. His attorney said, quote, it was a case of mistaken identity. That's all it is. They also ended up having several more witnesses that they didn't even talk to in the initial thing. All of a sudden these people materialize and say that he didn't have a gun, and people write written statements to notarized affidavits saying how Foley didn't have a gun and all this shit.
Oh my God!
Just seems like if he was Steve Foley, who worked at the grocery store, he'd be fucking going to jail for putting 10 to 15 rounds in the air, and nobody would fucking try to get him out.
Butcher Block guy just lost his best gig ever.
Yeah, he absolutely did. So he fears that this is going to prompt a suspension, so he's very worried that the arrest was. He said, quote, "I'm relieved some of these guys came forward and backed up my story." That's all he's got to say about it.
Damn right he is.
2000 season, they stick with Dick LeBeau in Cincinnati because, Christ, he did such a good fucking job last year. Why not? This is why they sucked forever. And like we said, this is why Marvin Lewis never gets fired. Because they're like, he's going 500. We can't fire him. He won the wild card.
It's so
a tough division. They just keep leaning on that. The Ravens, the Steelers, the tough division. So 2001, John Kitna, they bring in here to relieve Achilles Smith because he's awful.
Positive.
No, this was the time when John Kitna would go from team to team to team every year, filling in their backup role, or when they had like a shit young quarterback that they know is not going to be playing after 3 more games, they could put him in. Now, 12 games and 12 games started for Foley. He had a little bit of an injury, 2 forced fumbles, 0 sacks, 24 tackles. Team goes 6-10.
Impressive.
So we're slowly creeping up.
Kitna.
Went from 3 wins to 4 wins to 6 wins. This is a tough time to be a Bengal fan, I would imagine, right here.
If you've been born,
really?
if you were born in the 80s, there's never been a real positive time.
No, I mean, if you remember 88, that was fun.
Yeah,
but Boomer and Ickey Woods doing the Ickey Shuffle, and you came a hair away from winning the fucking Super Bowl.
Being 8 or younger at that time,
you're
you really don't remember it.
You don't remember that shit. You just remember the tail end of Boomer Esiason's career when it was garbage.
You remember your parents being happy. Right, that's it. That there was a glimmer of hope.
Yeah, if you grew up, if you watched during the 80s, you had to be a fan of Chris Collinsworth.
Yeah.
So fucking who wants that?
No, thank you.
2002 season, he misses the entire season with an injury.
Okay.
So he's out the whole 2002 season, and that's going to be the end of his run with Cincinnati.
Really?
When he comes back in 2003, he signs with the Houston Texans, who were a new team. Yeah. And Dom Capers is the head coach there, who ended up being Carolina, I believe, after a while. And then he went to Green Bay, or he was Carolina before he was Houston, and then Green Bay.
Great coordinator.
Another one, great coordinator. These are the David Carr Texans, where they first started when poor David, they had the worst offensive line ever, and poor David Carr, he would consist of snapping the ball and then immediately running for his life all around the backfield while 4 guys converged on him. And after a while, they were like, "We don't think he's very good." And it's like, how can he be? He's running fucking...
You couldn't put Dan Marino in there and expect a play to happen.
He'd had
nothing.
I remember watching the highlights that year when they would show like how little time, because they did like average time to throw in the league. They had all these crazy stats, and he had like by far the lowest amount of time to throw. He basically had like 3/4 of a second to both drop back and deliver a pass before someone was going to pummel him. It's like, are you kidding me?
And this is before they started really protecting the quarterback.
Oh, he got lit
pasted. Up. Yeah,
he got hit so
many times,
fucking much. And now his brother is pretty damn good quarterback.
This may be the only time that a brother legitimately becomes an actually good quarterback when the big brother really looks like a dickhead.
It's true. Yeah, that's true.
I can't remember. I mean, granted, there's very few brothers.
There's very few NFL brother quarterbacks. Yeah,
but the little brother never is better.
No,
it's never better.
No, it's true. It usually isn't. Which is a weird fucking thing.
It's strange.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, maybe
football. Dan McGuire was terrible. Little brother, Mark McGuire. Yeah. Remember him as a Seahawks quarterback?
Okay.
Fucking 6'9" or some crazy shit. And he was awful.
Then you've got
big ginger fuck.
It's up for debate.
Other brother quarterbacks are there?
Maybe Little Manning is better than Big Brother Manning.
You can't.
You never know. I don't know.
He beat ring wise.
He beat Brady twice, man. That's tough to do.
If you give me one game that he has to win, maybe then I take that. But if we're going for a season, I think I'm
relying on
Peyton at that point.
On hypercolor forehead.
That's right here. So he's with the Houston. They also had Andre Johnson that year with Houston.
Great receiver.
Great receiver. He was so good. 13 games played, 2 games started, 26 tackles, 1 sack. Team goes 5-11. He is on the most miserable shit heel. The most wins he's ever seen is 6.
Yeah.
That's fucking terrible.
The Houston Texans, too, might be the worst expansion team ever.
They were so bad.
So bad for so long.
So fucking
it's like 8
shitty.
years before they ever made the fucking playoffs.
Even the Buccaneers, when they first came in the 70s, had like that winless season, and then they ended up going to the NFC Championship game at one point. So
and then you got the Jaguars, who were shit for several years.
But a couple years later.
But
they're like the 96 97 they were in the, or 96 they were in the championship game.
Yeah,
New England beat them to go play Green Bay.
That's right.
Because Carolina, the other expansion team from, it was like their second season, was playing Green Bay in the other championship game.
And they damn near won they did win a Super Bowl.
It was Carolina?
Yeah, I think so, didn't they?
Carolina.
I think they won one.
No,
maybe?
I think so.
I don't know. I can't remember.
They lost to New England, I remember.
That may be the one I'm thinking of. With Green? Was Green on that team?
I believe that was the what's his name, the quarterback?
Jake Delhomme?
Jake Delhomme.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, that was a nightmare.
Yeah.
God, I hate the Patriots. Anyway, moving. I can hate recalling them winning shit. So 2004, he ends up in San Diego under Coach Marty Schottenheimer, who's an old pro all through the 80s with Kansas City, going 11-5 and getting knocked out in the first round every year. That's kind of his thing. This was the team. Drew Brees was young. Drew Brees was their star. Doug Flutie was the backup, which is crazy that Doug Flutie was still playing. Doug Flutie's first year was 86.
Was it really?
85 was his last year in college. That was that big bomb against Miami and all that. That was 85. 86, he came into the NFL and went to the USFL.
Wow.
That was 86. So this is 2004, and he's still goddamn playing at 5'8" quarterback.
Such a small dude.
So ridiculous, or 5'10", whatever the hell he was. I think he was smaller than that, though. Also, this is the year they drafted Phillip Rivers, though. So they're
planning on an escape route.
This was Flutie was just playing out his last year, and then they were thinking about shit cannon Breeze, and this is when he ended up, I believe, the next year, 2005, is when he went to New Orleans, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl with him there.
One of my favorite jokes about the Sklar brothers tell a joke about like the iPhone and how bad its charger is, and then they say the only charger worse than the iPhone's charger is Phillip Rivers. I fucking hate that funny. Man.
I can't stand him. He looks like an asshole. He's got that look on his face, like he's such a fucking arrogant dick.
Right.
Like he's like the country club kid in an '80s movie. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
but he doesn't swear. That's like his thing.
Yeah, he's super Christian.
I hate that,
which makes it even worse.
Somebody that doesn't swear ever.
I don't trust you.
Yeah, they got shit.
Period.
Yeah,
I do not trust a man who doesn't swear.
Right.
I just don't. I have said this 100 times. This is like my thing. If you're an adult and you never curse, you're a pedophile. Yeah, I'm sorry. You are 100% a fucking pedophile.
There's something behind the door somewhere.
Yep. And if you're going to tell me you're an adult and you don't curse, you want to fuck kids, even if you're not currently doing it. It's in your mind. You will fuck a kid at some point, or you'll at least have some kiddie porn or some weird shit. Because
you say, "Oh my
that's
heck,"
not normal.
Right?
That shit. That's the guy who's there 20 minutes early with orange slices, going, "Come on, darn it all, kids, let's do this." No, but I want a kid who's like, "Oh," I want a dude who's like, "Oh fuck, man, I'm so hungover."
I think his favorite word is "daggone." I think that's Phillip Rivers saying.
Fucking
don't do that.
Oh, that bothers me.
Don't do that, Phillip.
Oh, that kills me.
Phillip. Fuck, man. Stupid name.
So they also had LaDainian Tomlinson back then and everything. So this was a pretty good Charger team. It really was. They were pretty nasty. Foley himself goes 16 wins. Jesus Christ. Yeah. It is currently 2:56 a.m. He gets 16 games started, 2 interceptions, 5 forced fumbles, which is a fucking monstrous number. That's so many forced fumbles for one guy.
I felt bad for LaDainian Tomlinson for having that long of a name and trying to go with LT, and it's like, you don't get to do that.
Sorry,
bro.
Dude. I get that you want to shorten it.
I fully understand.
Totally get it, but no, you're not LT.
Just go by Dane. Take it, bro. Run with it.
That's tough. Like that is a tough one.
You don't get to do it.
No.
Somebody already did it, and they did it really well.
You can't. Yeah, I'm sorry. It wasn't like he was some mediocre middling guy. He's he's kind of.
He changed the position forever.
He's kind of pretty famous and in the Hall of Fame and stuff.
LaDainian, you're very good at what you do.
Oh, he's amazing, Tomlinson. But you're not. Yeah, you're not Lawrence Taylor. Right away when he came to the league, I was like, well, that's a little brave calling him LT off the bat. Shit. So this year, 5 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 47 tackles, 10 sacks.
All right.
Fucking crushes it for San Diego. And, of course, they had a good defense that he fit in and could really, work it. He wasn't.
What year was this?
This was 2004.
Okay.
San Diego goes 12-4 that year.
Yeah.
Finally, he's on a winner.
Yeah.
Must have felt wonderful. And when you're on a winner, look how much your stats improve.
Yeah, they did do well.
Non-shit players around you. They lose the wild card game after going 12-4, and Drew Schottenheimer old-timer fashion, just like he did forever with the Chiefs. Now they lose to the Jets 20-17, which is awful. Just goddamn awful. March of 2005, though, based on his tremendous performance, I mean, honestly, his performance has been fantastic. Can't beat it. The Chargers signed him to a 3-year contract extension through 2009, worth about $10 million.
My Christ.
Including an over $3 million signing bonus.
That's fantastic.
So he has fucking made it.
He can afford to live in San Diego.
He can afford to live in San Diego. He can afford to pay his child support. He has actually become like a top-notch, secure. That's a lot of fucking money. And to be handed that much money, grace. This is grace, I would say, right here. He was just on a winner. It can only go downhill from here.
He just made the playoffs and got a big contract. And it's over.
That's the end of it. It's nothing but shit from here.
Jesus, Foley.
Terrible, isn't it?
Fucking idiot.
This is a true crime in sports arc right here, man. Fucking
that's
idiot.
Depressing.
It really is. You want him to do better than that.
But that's essentially what I mean. Granted, he played in other cities, but that's like anybody that has a big money-making career there. That's basically grace there too.
Yeah, no. As soon as you get a
there.
big grace, that's it. Yeah.
Anybody in San Diego, you've never won.
Even if it's even if your life is great, like Jerry Seinfeld at the end of Seinfeld, you go grace on that story. Even though Comedians in Cars is huge, and he's made the B movie, and he's gone and do all this shit. Still grace.
It's $1 billion.
Yeah, you just top most popular sitcom at your time. That's grace, I would say, at that point. So 2005 San Diego season, he is hampered from training camp on with an abdominal injury. He plays through it most of the time. He starts 13 games and plays in 13 games despite the injury.
Do they say what it is? Is it like a fucking hernia?
No, it's some kind of weird
like a strained muscle.
It's some kind of one of those weird muscle. I think he might have had a tear early on and it never healed right, and just had a problem all year long. And so he starts 13 games, but the injury affects his numbers. One fumble recovery, 27 tackles, 4.5 sacks.
You gotta let that heal, bro.
Yeah, and he wasn't playing, he would come out a lot. He wasn't playing full time as much anymore. Just because of the injury. Team goes 9-7 that year.
Yeesh.
So go from 12-4 to 9-7. I remember that drop off. People were pissed. They wanted Schottenheimer's fucking head for that. I remember that. That's even in San Diego, even as laid back as they were like, okay, that's enough now. This is fucked up. We're not the Bengals here.
Did he go from San Diego to Kansas City?
No, Kansas City.
Kansas City too there?
Yeah. I remember he was Kansas City, and then he was in the booth like he was an announcer for like a year or two, as they all are after they came back.
And he was so San Diego was when he screamed the most then.
Oh yeah.
That was
his
bitching phase.
Yeah.
Because he screamed a fuck ton.
He was always screaming in San Diego. Even when things were going well, he was screaming. Like he was just angry. It's 9-7 in the room to scream. April 22nd, 2006, Foley is arrested for investigation of public intoxication, resisting arrest, and battery on a police officer following an early morning scuffle with at least 3 officers in Universal City.
Oh my God.
Why are you fighting 3 police officers in the middle of the night?
Battery of a police officer. I could see that you like, get the fuck off me.
Yeah,
but 3 of them.
3. Just give up and see what they want. That would be my suggestion to you. Stop, see what they want, because they're going to take what they want anyway at that point, and then go on from there. He didn't do that. He injured 3 officers in the melee, which is they tend to look down upon that a little bit. That'll get you. They get a little angry at that.
They're thrilled about it.
They're not thrilled about that. They try to arrest him outside of the La Jolla Hyatt Aventine Hotel for being drunk in public.
Nice place.
A nice place. Prosecutors at the end of the whole thing decide not to file felony charges in the case. How?
Yeah, how do you not?
Okay, if I go out right now, we're in a hotel. As a matter of fact, we're not in a Hyatt, I should say, but we're in a hotel. If I go downstairs,
nice place downtown,
decent place, downtown Seattle, close to the venue. If I go downstairs right now, if I drink half a bottle of whiskey, and then I go out downstairs, start acting a fucking fool, 3 cops show up. I injure them.
All 3.
All 3 of them while they try to arrest me. And I say, fuck no. First of all, I'd be shocked if I wasn't shot.
Right.
And second of all, I would expect charges to be filed
At
from
minimum
that.
felony.
At least some sort of assault on an officer. There's something coming from that.
Here's the other part is that he is in La Jolla, like the whitest town of San Diego.
He's a giant black dude fighting with the cops. How did he not get shot? He's
throwing
lucky.
punches.
Fuck. Tossing. Apparently he was like tossing them around.
Yeah.
They were coming at him. He's huge and strong and jacked and fucking,
That draws the crowd.
That will get some attention here. I can't believe, though, this
And he doesn't
not
get
to
felony.
file.
Wow.
Holy shit. Now, this is interesting here. September 2nd, 2006, so same year, he goes out for a night on the town in San Diego. He's at the gas lamp district.
We've
down
been
there.
there.
We've been there.
It's
we had
awful.
food down there. Yeah, not a great place. Employees of a bar down there said Foley was drinking there for about 3.5 hours. Which is a long time to be drinking.
That'll start some issues.
One bartender indicated he was obviously buzzed, and this bartender said that he would not have been comfortable getting a ride home from him. It was like, well, you were the one giving. He said, yeah,
Dude,
I wouldn't take a ride home from him. We'll put it that way. Like, fuck, maybe you should have not served him more.
You
I
got
don't know.
him this fucked up.
Yeah, this is on you, dude. So the lights came on at the bar, and as soon it's closing time, lights came on. As soon as they came on, Foley started hitting on any female that he could find, waitresses especially.
He didn't go ugly early.
Who especially? Okay, I've worked at bars at 2:00 in the morning or wherever the bars close in your city. When those fucking lights come on, the people that work there, the last thing they want to do is talk to and fuck somebody from that bar, maybe another employee, but not some drunk dude. They want you the fuck out so they can get the fuck out and go home. That's
Especially if you're
loaded. They have no patience for you. They've dealt with shit all night. You've been a nuisance to them for the last 3.5 hours. Like, now you're going to be like, hey, baby, you want to come home
probably
with
grabbed
me?
a couple
No,
asses.
You don't remember. You've started some shit. You're a fucking idiot. So he hits on one of the waitresses. She doesn't want it, obviously. She's not into him.
She's tired.
She's tired. She wants to go home. She's probably got 2 kids or some shit. She's like, I got to fucking go. My mother's got the kids, okay? Can we not do this? She said that Foley was impaired and seemed to be swaying back and forth.
Yeah.
And she could tell from a distance that he was drunk.
I love those guys.
Yeah, he's like across the room drunk where you're like, look at this fucking guy. Like
the guy that wanted you to fix his strap today. That guy was swaying so much.
We're standing outside on a sidewalk on the side room of the club in Seattle where we played, and we're waiting for the first show to start, or second show. I don't even remember. I'm so tired.
I think it was the first.
I slept for 2 hours last night.
It may have been the second.
So that tells you where we're at now. And that was a long time ago.
The last time my eyes were closed was not recent.
Oh boy. So this guy comes up. We're standing outside, and it's me and Jimmy and a friend of ours that we know from the Phoenix comedy scene that lives in Seattle now. We're all talking, and this guy just stops, and he's got like a messenger bag on. Like I wear a messenger bag. He's fucked up.
Like he's on a boat.
Yeah. And he just stops and looks at me, and he goes, "Would you mind fixing my strap on the messenger bag?" And I'm like, huh? Like, you want to what?
Cross your chest, bro.
The way he said it though was like he didn't say it like he didn't aggressive.
But he also didn't give instructions enough to understand what he wanted.
But he said it so pathetic that I wanted to help him. So I'm like, I guess I don't fucking know. I'm gonna fix a grown man's strap now. But he seems so helpless and childlike. And we tried to. We're like, I don't know how you do. You looked in. You're like, I don't know how this works. And he's like,
and he had it like cinched
twisted
up in the back.
It was twisted, and the padding thing wasn't on the shoulder. It was a goddamn disaster.
That's what he was looking for, was for the shoulder pad to be moved up to his shoulder, which is in arm's reach on his own fucking chest.
But he stopped 3 strangers outside of a venue,
visibly drunk. That's the level that Foley's at the moment.
Asked for a favor. So. Wow.
Can you help?
Now, while he's hitting on every waitress he could find, he has a woman there with him. He had called a Lisa Marie Gott, who we'll talk definitely about for a little bit here, earlier in the evening, and asked him to meet her and asked her to meet him there.
Yeah.
So he's got someone he already hooked up. Yeah. Like he called a date and she came, and now he's trying to hook up with waitresses.
Others.
And this is like they had met 5 days earlier at a restaurant. So this is just some chick he met, got her got her digits, called her up and was like, hey, I'm out right now. Why don't you come out and meet me? She came out. They stayed till closing. Lights came on. And he's like, I'm going to go fuck that waitress real quick, which is a strange.
It's a terrible move. You've got New Poon right there. Roll with her, man.
Yeah, work on this.
And treat her right. You asked her out. She's there.
And that's the thing. Don't go hit on other chicks. I think he's so drunk he doesn't even realize. He just sees, like, look, there's boobs. And he just, like, follows her. He's like, you want to come home with me?
Right.
Now, keep in mind throughout this night, and as this story unfolds, she has only known him 5 days.
Okay.
They're not married.
Lisa Marie.
They're not married. They have no, like...
There's no tie.
No, there's no tie. He doesn't pay her fucking bills.
Right.
They don't... They're
5-day
newly acquainted people here. Absolutely. So he leaves this this bar in the Gaslamp District. He heads north on State Route 163.
Yep.
He's got a dark colored 1971 Oldsmobile Cutlass, customized. Drop like it's like a
it's a pimp ride.
It's a fucking pimp. It's badass though. It's a fucking crazy ride.
He thugged this thing out and it gets attention.
He's been customizing it for years. This is his baby. The whole deal. So he's driving that. He's driving and she's in the passenger seat. Now about 3 a.m. there's an off-duty officer. The last name of Mansker, Officer Mansker. He's driving home northbound on the 163, same direction as Foley and Gaunt. He's in his personal car. He's not in a marked police car at all, in civilian clothes, and he notices that Foley is driving about 30 miles an hour on the highway and swerving.
Not 30 miles an hour over.
No, 30 miles an hour weaving in and out of a lane on the highway.
The speed limit is 60.
Yeah, and
65.
he's like, I'm good at 30, really. I'm not in a hurry. Are you in a hurry? Because I'm good.
Have
I'll
you
just
seen
cruise.
this car? You know how much money I have in this thing?
What you do in a car like this is you want people to notice you, and if you're going 65, it's harder to get noticed. So you ride 30, and then everyone
low and slow, girl.
And if you swerve back and forth from lane to lane, then they really notice you. You're like, oh, that guy almost hit me. Oh, that's a sweet car that almost hit me. So that's what you got to do to get noticed. The officers, he doesn't fucking know what it's like to have a custom car like that. That's what it is here.
He's driving an off-duty police officer car.
Yeah, it's 3 o'clock in the morning when this is happening. He sees him. Mansker said that Foley was weaving all over the road and nearly struck several vehicles and the end of the center median. He's fucking shit hammered.
Yeah.
Mansker says he thinks he's got a drunk driver on his hands.
Yeah.
It's a public safety risk. He ends up following Foley's vehicle up the freeway, where at some point, because he was right on top of him, he was pulling up next to him, telling him to pull over. He's got no fucking lights. He's got no uniform. He's just some guy going, pull over.
Right.
Which, who the fuck is stopping for that?
Not me.
I'm not stopping for that guy. I'm giving him the finger and I'm fucking driving away. Eat dicks, motherfucker.
And
why am I stopping
drunk,
for you?
No way I'm stopping.
Yeah, fuck you. I might want to stop to fight him if I'm drunk. And if I'm him, I'll be like, yeah, all right, what the fuck you want now? If I'm him, that's probably my attitude at this point.
I got enough problems. I can't even drive this car.
I'm having a hard time. I almost hit the center median in several parked cars. Remember that shit? So anyway, Foley ends up speeding up to about 90 miles an hour at one point, and then exits the freeway down there. Now, this guy, by the way, this is a new officer. He's 23 years old, this guy. He's not a new, he's not like an experienced officer. We'll get into his past in a second here. He ends up, this guy, by the way, lives in Escondido, and he was, I guess, going to that direction. So he ends up following him. He says that he tried to get back up at one point, but no assistance arrived. That's what one of the investigating officers said later on. This is like the official report from the lieutenant after all this. Foley and Mansker reportedly stopped at a red light before reaching Poway, and Mansker identified himself as a police officer and ordered Foley to pull over. Foley, who was riding with a female passenger, acknowledged the officer and then drove on.
Okay.
He went, that's cool. See ya. Never mind.
I feel you, man. I gotta go.
Yo, man, I feel what you're saying and I respect what you got going on, but I'm going to go home now. He just fucking drove away.
I really like to not be here with you.
Yeah, so at another street, Foley, Mansker pulls alongside Foley and again is telling him, pull over, I'm a fucking police officer. Foley apparently went, shit, and waved him off and then drove faster. Just like, man, fuck you.
That's a direct quote.
Shit. That is literally a direct quote from the police report. Shit. And not, oh, shit. Shit. Like, fuck you. Dismissive. And then she kept driving.
You ain't shit, sir.
Yeah, finally, Foley ends up stopping several times and blocking the road and acting like a dick, like stopping and then going and like trying to, I guess, juke this guy out into like not being behind him anymore. Finally, Foley, after all this, he pulls his car up onto the center median and exits his car and heads towards Mansker.
He starts walking towards
What the fuck do you want from me, motherfucker? You want me to pull over so bad? Here I am. What's up, bitch?
This ends terribly.
He doesn't know that this guy's a fucking cop. The guy said he's identified himself as a cop, but he's got his badge on his belt under his shirt that's over him. He's in civilian clothes in an unmarked car at 3 in the fucking morning. So this just looks like a guy maybe trying to jack you, maybe fucking with you, maybe it's a crazy fan.
Right.
You don't fucking know what this guy's
anything
about. You have no idea. So he's like, I'm going to fuck you up now. And now he's got a giant drunken linebacker
hightailing towards his car.
Yeah, which is scary. So he goes over to him. Mansker gets out of his car and identifies himself. But once again, his badge is attached to his belt, and it's the middle of the fucking night. It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Can't see anything.
Foley can't see shit. You need to identify yourself better than that.
Foley can't see a car that has lights on it.
No, he just ignores that shit. He don't care.
Fuck a dark badge in the moonlight.
No shit. So apparently, as Foley walked toward Mansker pulled his gun on him.
Oh boy!
And said, "Stop right now." Foley's response was, "Oh, that's a BB gun." He didn't even, because he didn't think he was even a cop. He's like, that's a BB gun, man. Fuck you. And he walked back to his car and got in his car and fucking drove away. He's like, I don't need you.
Oh, boy.
His Mansker had a choice of either shoot him or let him drive away because he wasn't going to go physically take him down and cuff him. That wasn't going to happen.
Also, you can't shoot him in the back.
That's another problem here.
He'll look real bad in that situation.
The guy just says, nah, and walks away, waves him off.
A guy that just says, shit. And treats you like an asshole.
Yeah, that's what he did. He treated him like he was like the guy at fucking Walmart when you walk out that has to check your receipt. And you're like, fuck you, just blew by him and shit.
That guy at Costco that's about to count the items in your cart.
Oh, I hate
and he's just like, go fuck yourself, man, and just walks out.
That's the best. That's the greatest. If you're ever at Costco, just keep walking.
Just walk past
when they go to do it, just go, no thanks, and keep walking. They have no idea what to do. But they won't stop you.
They can't.
It's hilarious. But they have their pen out, like, but you can't. You just go, no thanks. But they're like, I don't. It's not a favor.
Call the cops.
They don't
I'm
know
leaving.
how. Yeah, I bought all this shit. Eat dicks, fucker. Paid a goddamn
I gotta prove a goddamn thing to you.
No, fuck you. That is the most annoying thing in the world.
It is
Pay
the
a
most,
membership, and then you're gonna search me on the way out like it's a fucking prison.
Pay a membership and treat me like a criminal.
Yeah. What is that? That's literally treat me like. And all the items are huge. What are you fucking stealing? Oh, here's another thing. I don't know. Maybe if you had bags or things to put shit in too, you could tell what the fuck you bought and what you didn't buy.
I got a pallet of Q-tips in this old bread box.
That's
what the
thing. It's a goddamn broccoli box, and I'm like, why is all of my fish and some underwear and everything in a fucking broccoli box? I have some bags, you goddamn assholes.
I have 10 gallons. I don't know why that's a measurement of pretzels, but I have that.
It's odd that they would measure that in gallons. It's strange that I have 14 cubic feet of cheese puffs. I find that odd. Right? They usually don't come in cubic feet. It's usually by weight, but I guess that's just
fucking ridiculous.
A room full. I don't know how
I
much
hate
that
Costco
is.
more than anything.
That's my least favorite fucking
go
place
there
in the world.
all the time. I have to.
I will not go.
Really?
Sarah will go now for it because the last 3 times we went, the line was so fucking long, and I got so angry at it because there was 27 people standing around doing dick, people handing out samples and shit, and I'm like, bring me up, you motherfucker.
Right.
So I'm getting so mad, and then at the end of it, there's an 8-person long line for some lady to fucking count my items, and I just lost my shit. And I'm like, the manager was there, and I'm like, this is bullshit. And I'm like, you fucking get one of your goddamn people handing out fucking pasta samples to check a motherfucker out. This is bullshit. I'm never coming back here.
And then they got a line of shit on the side of the line to get out of people trying to sell you timeshares and wood floors and paint for the
to shit.
Fuck you!
Bitches.
I'm already checked. I'm already leaving. Get away from me.
I get so. That's one of the places. There's a few places I get so aggravated that I finally had to take myself like out of the lineup. Where I'm like, I can't go there because my blood pressure goes.
Can't
too
go
high.
today, Coach.
I can't. My blood pressure's going to be too high. I'm going to lose my fucking mind. And Sarah's like, okay, I'll go.
Place is a piece of shit, and I have to.
Well, you need paper
the
towels
place, right.
at some point,
and I
That's
need
the
a
thing.
lot of them.
I need and toilet paper.
Right.
You need
I
to
use
shop
so
smart.
much of it. I need a lot of it at once because it's going to all go to use. It's all getting used.
That's the only thing I'll buy there.
And their rotisserie chickens are fucking enormous. And I love that.
Not bad.
They're chock full of fucking steroids, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, it's shot up.
Chickens are never supposed to be that big.
So back to Foley. Foley had just said, "Oh, that's a BB gun," and walked back toward his car.
Got it.
At this point, he's getting back in his car. This Lisa Marie Gott pops out of the car on the other side.
She's had enough of this.
She gets out of the car, starts yelling at Mansker.
What?
Something that he described as unintelligible because she's shit hammered.
Right.
But
5 days in, she's a ride or die.
That's in 5 days.
Yeah.
She's like, man, fuck you, cop. I was like, you just met this guy. Maybe, how about the guy you're on your second date with is running from the fucking police in the middle of the night? Maybe this is a weird move. So anyway, this guy here, she gets back in the car and they drive away.
Wow.
Like, fuck you. They drive away. Now, keep in mind, like I said, no uniform, no police car, no badge showing, the whole deal.
Yeah.
They have a report of a recording of a conversation between two police dispatchers talking to each other. After Mansker informs them that Foley initially pulled over but then drove off. One of the dispatchers said to the other one, quote, "I'm surprised he got him to pull over. I wouldn't have pulled over for him." So even the police dispatchers are like, he's got no fucking cop car or uniform. Who's pulling over for this fucking guy?
Here's the thing, though. Drunk people do drunk shit.
That's true.
And that's what drunk people do. They pull over for people that are freaking the fuck out, and they're like, "I'll fuck you up," and they do dumb shit.
That sounds like he reacted to him like he thought he was like a crazy fan following to him. He's like, "Leave me the fuck alone. Fuck you. That's a BB gun. I don't even believe you. Eat shit." Shit. So
you don't say no thank you to that guy.
No.
Say shit and poo him and just flip a wrist at him.
I like to say no thank you like they're offering me a sample of food like you do in the aisle, and they're like,
no,
think of this, just go, "No thank you," smile too, "No thank you," and just keep they go up at we just go, no, I'm good, and just keep walking. They don't know what to do. They hold the pen up in the air like, I want to mark, I don't know what I have to mark things.
You ever gone in there without them checking your ID thingy?
Oh,
you fucking mental they will
midget
chase
asshole.
you down in that store.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! Like they have fucking gold in there.
Right.
Your toilet paper's 40 cents cheaper. You're acting like you got the fucking Hope Diamond in there that you're protecting. It's literally slightly cheaper fucking paper towels. Fuck you.
Which aisle do you keep the enriched uranium? Because you're treating this shit.
That's how you're treating it, like it's loose nukes from the Russian fucking state. It's not. I'm telling you, no thank you. You will never feel better than when you say no thank you. Smile, nod, and acknowledge their existence. Don't ignore them. Look them right in the eye and say, "No thanks, I'm good," and keep fucking walking. They have no idea. Watch them hold their pen up in the air like,
I need your paper.
I have nothing to mark. Oh, they panic. So a few minutes after they drive off here again, Foley stops his car a third time, and this is in his neighborhood now. He basically went to his cul-de-sac, turned down his street. Mansker follows him down the street, and now he's in a cul-de-sac with Foley, and Foley's pissed. He is not happy. This guy has now followed him
all the way to my domicile.
To my house. Now you're getting fucked up. You don't follow me to my goddamn house. So then he gets out of his car, Foley does, and walks towards Mansker's car here. As he's doing that, is fucking Lisa Marie Gott.
no.
You want to talk ride or die?
Jesus Christ.
She hops into the driver's side.
Oh my God, she's
of
Lil
his
Kim.
car and drives slowly alongside Foley toward Mansker's car. Like they're rolling together.
Yeah.
He's walking, she's driving next to her. Mansker then, he says, identified himself as a police officer, stating that his gun was real and he fired a warning shot into the bushes.
Oh my fuck.
This has gone too far.
Yeah.
You saw him go down a cul-de-sac.
Call the police and leave, bro.
Pull down to the end of the street. You
And
know
wait
where
on
he
the
is.
cops. Yeah.
Radio it in. Call the fucking cops. Wait for them to get there and fucking let them
Why are
take
you
care of it.
discharging weapons in the man's vicinity?
You can jump out too when they're making the arrest and
Right.
stand there and act important all you
Right.
fucking want.
And then
Stand there
just
and dick
smile
off
at him
and
as
drink
he
coffee
because he's getting arrested.
Yeah, he's going to get arrested. Do that. Instead, this fucking asshole discharges his fucking weapon in a neighborhood. You can't just turn your gun. What if that ricocheted went through a window and killed a fucking kid? You can't do that.
26-year-old or 23-year-olds do some drunk shit
They
too.
do, and he's scared. He's got a giant guy coming toward him,
he's
and the
scared.
guy's going, "Your gun ain't real."
Right.
He's got a gun.
It's
but
real.
He can't even scare this guy with it
Right.
because the guy doesn't believe it's real. So he's like, "I better prove it's fucking real here." So he bucks a fucking shot off into the bushes here, which is, like I said, insane. Now Mansker at this point alleges that Foley reached into his pants with his right hand as he approached the officer.
Okay.
That's what he alleges, and who knows? He might have been adjusting his fucking cock for all I know. So that's what he says. So Gott, at this point, the woman, Lisa Marie, quote, rapidly accelerates the car toward the officer and tries to run him over with the fucking car.
What is she doing?
Listen to this. This is 5 days she's what a scene this is.
Here's
isn't
the
it?
other part.
Holy shit.
If I know a girl for 5 days and she takes a car that I have been fucking immaculately taking care of and working on and accelerates it towards a man with a gun, at this point, I don't even know if he's a cop. I hate her at the moment.
I would say.
I would be so mad at her.
So Mansker fires off 2 shots toward the car.
Oh, Jesus.
He's just shooting at the car.
Yeah.
So he's shooting at the car. What ends up happening is she ends up driving. She had to drive around Foley to try to hit Mansker. He gets out of the way, pops a couple of shots off at the car. She jumps a curb, goes up into the residence or into the yard of a house and runs it into a tree.
Oh, my God.
So then that's not enough. She throws the car in reverse. She's not fucking around.
She's not done.
Crazier than him. Revved the engine and speeds backward into the cul-de-sac.
Sweet
Just
fucking
threw it in
Pete.
reverse and gunned it. Like, well, I'll just go backwards here. It's at this point that Mansker really panics, turns towards Foley, and just starts bucking shots at him.
Oh, my God.
And hits him in the leg and hip. And Foley hits the ground, shot multiple times on the ground. That'll put him down, I guess. Paramedics were dispatched to the scene at 3:46 a.m. So this lasted for 45 minutes, this whole fucking scene. He's transported to the hospital. His neighbors, Karen Lammers, said, quote, "We've had nothing but good experiences with Steve Foley. He's always smiling, except when he's being shot in the street at 3:45 in the fucking morning.
Except for when he's wasted.
Yeah, except for when he's hammered at 3 in the morning. Apparently, he was typically, they said he would always be, whenever he was home and not on the road, he'd be working on his cutlass in the yard. That's all he cared about. It was his pride and joy, everybody said.
Oh, she just ran this fucker into a tree.
He does have 2 kids, too, mind you.
Oh,
that's
a good
That's his
point.
pride
Yeah.
and joy,
Yeah.
which makes me laugh.
That's his baby.
That's his baby. This Lammers woman said that she and her husband heard 3 shots, pop, 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 but they thought it was someone shooting at coyotes, she said, which is normal at 3 in the morning,
That's
apparently.
not legal in California.
Probably
either.
not in a neighborhood.
No.
I don't think in Escondido it's fucking, or wherever the fuck they were in San Diego County. It's
You're not
okay
allowed.
to buck shots off at goddamn.
I can tell
coyotes.
you, even in Arizona, they have to be physically attacking you for it to be legal to shoot them, and even then, they will investigate.
That's ridiculous.
You're not allowed to just shoot them because they're in the neighborhood.
That's fucking
even
crazy.
as dangerous as those fucking things are.
That's crazy. Now, this they said that this incident has made the neighbors become closer, and they're keeping Foley in their thoughts and prayers as he recovers. Now, he This Mansker.
Nothing like a sacrificed black guy to bring the neighborhood together.
It'll bring everyone together here.
A bunch of white people are like, it could have been any of us. No, it couldn't.
No, probably
Stop
not.
it.
They probably wouldn't have followed you around fucking 90-mile-an-hour chasing an unmarked car.
Right.
No, he was driving drunk and doing all this shit. He was acting like an asshole. This guy handled it as poorly as you could possibly handle it. What's the worst thing you could do? I don't know. Chase him at 90, not show your badge, and then shoot him in the fucking street outside of his house. That
and
seems
have
like
zero, not just a badge, but no lights.
no lights,
no fucking
uniform, no car,
right?
Nothing, no backup, just you in a cul-de-sac like an asshole.
Claiming to be a cop.
So stupid, man.
I don't blame him for not believing him.
And he was only on the job a few months. He was joined the force.
23 years old.
Yeah, and he joined the force in August 2005. So I mean, it's like 8 months on the force.
And he's now shot a man.
And now he shot a man, a famous man, no doubt, a member of the local football team. That's just it doesn't seem like a good move.
A man with $13 million in his bank account.
Shit. This Mansker, before he joined the force, was a campus security officer.
Of course he
at
was.
Palomar College.
Jesus.
So he's one of those guys. San Diego Sheriff's Department is leading the investigation because it occurred there. They said that he was Foley. They would only verify at first that he was shot more than once by an duty officer in an upscale neighborhood. That's all they would say about him. Which, fine, we'll say that. So he apparently at this point on September 3rd, 2006, the Chargers announced that he's going to miss the entire season.
With
after
a
being
broken
shot.
hip?
Yeah, he did. He was shot in the hip and the leg. He was all fucked up.
God damn.
He will be placed on the non-football injured reserve list, which means that he does not get paid.
Oh, that
means
sucks.
they fucking he eats that salary.
Can he sue that officer?
Well, that's the thing. We'll talk about that.
Yeah,
What do
right.
you think that didn't come up in this
Yeah.
at all? So Chargers general manager said that Foley won't be paid. His base pay is $775,000, and he was due a roster bonus of $875,000.
$1.5 million.
And he will not get that shit. Over 1.6,
Yeah.
1.65. That's a
lot of money.
That's a lot of fucking money. It's based on the medical information. That's when the Chargers decided to put him on the non-football reserve list. The general manager said in a silver move here. Well, he's hurting and he got shot at 3 o'clock in the morning, but in a real sketchy situation.
Right.
Let me just completely fuck this guy over pretty good. He said, quote, I can't reveal all of the information except that I had enough information that I had to make. This is the weirdest statement. I can't reveal all of that information except that I had enough information that I had to make a football decision. I guess that's not that weird, but he said it in the most fucking voluted way possible. He said, I had to ask, what's the timetable of his recovery? We felt in the best interest of the team that he would be out of action for the year. He also said, obviously, this is a big blow. It's a tragedy in itself as far as the player is concerned, and it's a blow for our football team. They had missed the playoffs 9 times in the last 10 seasons. That 12-4 was the only bright spot.
Yeah.
And that was right after they went to that Super Bowl where they got crushed by the 49ers in like 94, and then they sucked for a decade except for that 1 year.
This is the time when Denver had pretty much 6 wins locked up every year for like 4 or 5 years.
This was bad times for a lot of people. The Giants were terrible for me. I hated watching that. The
AFC West was so not competitive.
No. This was rough here. Now, September 6th, 2006, he's still in the fucking hospital at this point. I mean, they said he was out for the year and he wasn't getting paid while he's still recovering from gunshot wounds here. This was after it first happened. They tried to question him in the hospital. Police did, and they said that he was unable to respond, because he was sedated from gunshot wounds. The officer said, quote, he's been kind of in a sedated state since he's been in the hospital. Yeah, because he got shot. That happens.
Just say he's been sedated.
He's been sedated.
The man's in a lot of pain.
He'll be back at some point here. Now, here's the other thing. They say, to my knowledge, this is one of the officers, to my knowledge, I don't believe Foley did have a weapon, even though I was told he reached into his waistband with his right hand. I don't know what was in his mind. We never recovered a weapon. Yeah. So he never had a fucking weapon. Right. So all we have is the word of this Mansker guy, this campus security guard, that he shot him after he put his hand down his pants, even though he had nothing to take out, unless he was going to swing his cock at him and unless he was going to take his dick out and piss on the guy's tire. He was fine here. So Mansker is placed on paid administrative leave.
He gets a vacation.
So he's
paid.
not on the non-fucking police officer reserve list. He gets to get paid for this shit while this other guy gets out his money. Coach Marty Schottenheimer visited Foley in the hospital.
Oh, boy.
To tell him that he wasn't getting paid. I don't think he told him that. It probably wasn't his job. But also some of the team officials were seen there. Several silver-haired, middle-aged white men all around there. Schottenheimer said, quote, "I would say he's doing pretty well given the circumstances. It was good to get a chance to see him again. We're anxious to see him recover as quickly as possible." The hospital said they couldn't comment on
screamed that.
his condition. Yeah, we're anxious. We're anxious to see him recover as quickly as possible. And he adjusted his glasses.
Right.
He got him all fucking all angry. He loses $1.65 million. Wow. This is great, too. There's an article, this guy named Daver Zarin. It's called A Writer's Opinion, and he opens it up with the phrase, quote, "This one stinks like a beached whale," about the case here. They talk about how he was shot in front of his home by an off-duty police officer. They go through the whole thing here, they said, why wasn't this officer? Why couldn't he call for backup
That's
again? Why couldn't he go call? He said, quote, "Did this officer fail to charge his cell phone? What the fuck is the story here?" He says, quote, amazing how by day with TV news helicopters overhead, a stoned crazy can lead a scary high-speed chase through half of Southern California with no shots fired with everybody. But by night, one off-duty cop can go from one end of his large county to the other end and end up using his gun in an apparent solo bust.
No doubt.
Guess Charles Bronson lives.
Oh, boy.
Which is like fucking, he just ridiculous. And it's true.
That's right.
The police force can chase a guy down and it's fine. This guy can't not shoot a guy in the street in front of his own fucking house here.
A guy will spin donuts on the 405, blocking all lanes of traffic, and then not one shot fired.
Absolutely. This guy just keeps bringing up why he didn't call for more backup, why he didn't go to another place, go to another location. This guy, he had him secured in the cul-de-sac. If he ran away, he could have said he's going that direction.
Yep.
Suspects heading up north on this road.
Right.
You know, cops with cars and lights and shit, maybe get on that because I'm going to go home since I'm in my Toyota Corolla.
A fucking parking garage.
Yeah.
It's not, he's going in here, he's parked, this is where he is.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll have several minutes to get him here.
Well, he was just in a cul-de-sac in his neighborhood, like by his driveway. So, I mean, even better. Like,
right, that's my point. He's not going anywhere at this
point. It basically was a parking garage, like to this guy. He could have just sat outside and waited. Same type of shit here. Now, they do a blood alcohol on Foley at the hospital. It is 0.233. Way drunker than that's like 3 times the legal limit.
He's wrecked.
He's fucked up, and he's a big dude that's fucked up.
That took
too.
a lot to get him there.
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah, absolutely. They ended up preserving his blood, which could also be tested for controlled substances and steroids because they're trying to say he was overly aggressive at the officer. So that's how they're going to say that. That's how they're going to justify shooting a man in the street who with that roid rage, and it doesn't matter if he was the guy identified himself or not. They're trying to say here. The sheriff's department recommends that he'd be charged with misdemeanor drunk driving. So while he's in the hospital and everything, he is charged with drunk driving stemming from being shot, obviously.
Right.
He's arraigned on 2 counts of misdemeanor DUI. He's not required to attend a hearing for some reason on that, I believe for medical reasons. His agent, David Levine, said that he's home recovering and he had several surgeries to his leg. He says, quote, he's currently unable to walk or stand without assistance. Right now he's going through a healing process, a very painful one, and it's unknown at this point in time how he's going to recover. Basically, like, I don't know if he's ever going to be able to play again or what, because that's what everybody keeps saying. The charges carry enhancements that include being charged with DUI within 10 years of a prior conviction of having a blood alcohol level exceeding 0.15, because he had that other DUI that he ended up having before, so now he's got to deal with that. Obviously, this is like his 6th arrest lately, and basically every arrest has had something to do with alcohol.
Right.
Everything is he's drunk and acts a fool when he's fucking drunk, or gets shot when he's fucking drunk. which
he's
is
shooting or getting shot.
He's shooting or
There's
getting shot.
too many guns involved in his drinking.
Too many fucking guns involved in his drinking, and now he's got to watch the games all year now. He's
from a hospital bed, or
from his room, from a hospital
cast
bed,
in his fucking room,
not making any money every week, thinking about how big that check should be to get $1.65 fucking million.
So much money.
He's sitting there. Imagine that too, like. You would have to with completely shot up like that in your house. Right. You'd have to. You couldn't do anything for yourself.
No. You gotta have somebody else help.
You gotta have everyone help you. You gotta have. I'm sure he's got maids at that point and butlers that he's got. Not a butler, but some sort of aide or assistant or somebody that he's got to have without the assistance of a salary to pay this.
$100 grand a week, mind you.
Yeah. Everything. When the plumbing breaks, you got to call somebody, and he does. And the guy knocks on the door, and it's Paul Calhoun, shit pipe enthusiast. And he says... how is it you come to arrive here? I mean, I gotta be honest. I've been watching you from a distance here. I keep my truck back. I'm not like other people. I understand you don't want to bum rush somebody in the truck. Right. You know what I mean? I'm not a fucking idiot like some of these people are. But I gotta tell you, from a distance, and even now up close in your house, your shit pipes are way backed up, pal. Your life shit pipes are a fucking mess. You need more than just it's not going to be, you can't just snake this out. Right. You understand? It's a fucking disaster.
There's guns down there.
You got guns. There's shit everywhere. There's fucking gauze from your gunshot wounds being changed that somehow got flushed down there, and your shit pipes are clogged.
Right.
And at this point, I don't know how the fuck you're going to unclog them because it costs money, and you ain't making no more money, and now you're limping around like some kind of fucking bum. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just saying. But by the way, tell your friends, if your shit pipes are clogged, the only guy to call, Paul Calhoun, shit pipe enthusiast. I'll clean your shit pipes and I'll smack your wife. You know the jingle. Do that. Thank you very much. I got to go. Poof. And in a puff of shit pipe dust, he's gone. In a puff of impacted shit and gunshot wound gauze, he's out of there. And if Foley wasn't confused before as to what the fuck was going on, why people were shooting him,
he is dazed.
He's like, who the shit was that? What kind of, these painkillers are awesome.
Who in the shit pipes was that?
Who in the shit pipe was that? Oh my God. So September 15th, 2006, prosecutors say they suspect that Foley was on steroids when he was shot 3 times by an officer. Okay. Still doesn't explain why this fucking guy was chasing him down with no license.
So why was he shot?
It's so weird.
The root of the problem is that a man did not properly identify himself. He was not prepared to call the police.
Well, yeah, because at that point, once you pull your gun out on that guy, you either hope he cooperates or you have to shoot him because you don't have backup. So
no
if
choice.
He comes at you, he's either going to fucking pick you up and rip your legs off your body and beat you with them.
That's a guy that's been on a college campus way too long and could not. He wanted to shoot a kid so many times.
You know he fucking did.
Oh, good Christ.
He's probably one of those.
Skateboarding on my fucking sidewalks.
A lot of the time, sorry if you're a security guard, but a lot of the times that's a bad sign. The security guards who want to be cops, that's a certain personality type that they usually are leery of at police forces.
It's the guy that couldn't pass.
It's the guy that chases someone down unnecessarily going 90, whereas a good cop would be like, I got his fucking license plate number. I'm going to call my buddy up who's on duty right now and tell him to go fucking get the guys.
I got you now, motherfucker.
And I'll go, yeah, guys, you fucking chase him. I'm going home and having a beer, you fucking assholes. My shift is done. And you don't go, I'll get him. I got him right now. And there's more information about this guy, too, that makes it worse. This
Columbo.
cop. Yeah, this genius
fucking
here,
Beretta.
Charles Bronson over here. They also, the prosecutor said, quote, his history of aggressive and even violent contact with law enforcement indicates the possibility of more than mere alcohol involvement. That's what they said here. They said, quote, steroids can cause erratic behavior in those that use them. This has been given names like roid rage for the uncontrollable outbursts and violence experienced by some users. This is a prosecutor saying this horseshit, which doesn't seem to matter. They requested the blood sample from him while he was at the hospital, and they ended up getting it. They said authorities say they have no evidence that he was using performance-enhancing drugs. They just want to test him because they feel like his behavior of aggression toward law enforcement matches that thing, or he's just a really aggressive guy. They also say that he's his lawyer, Levine, Foley's lawyer, said, quote, "I have no comment about whatever they're doing. That's not going to be my part in this. Like, they're fucking ridiculous. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're playing in a different game here." Schottenheimer and the Chargers declined to comment, citing the sensitive nature of the investigation.
They really want to talk.
You know they would.
Football teams want no involvement in this.
They
shit.
just want, we don't ask us, please.
Right.
No comment. They said, quote, "The Chargers hope that everyone will wait until all of the facts are revealed and not rush to judgment on anyone." Right. So they're just like, that's as neutral as you can play.
Due process, bitches.
Let's just let this all die down,
right.
And then when no one remembers it anymore,
right.
then you can decide
Maybe
what happened.
you can get some more sacks for us.
And it's fine. So the other thing is they say that the NFL says that he's never tested positive for steroids since breaking into the league in '98. They say that players are tested up to 6 times in the off season, once during training camp as part of their physical.
Right.
During the regular season, 7 players per team per week are randomly tested. So Gene Upshaw, the head of the players union, said, quote, "We will," or Players Association.
He's a good dude.
He seems decent. "We will not step in at all until we have and we will not have a comment until all the legal matters are resolved." So everybody on all sides, even everyone on his side, is like, let's let this shit play out.
Right.
He did, actually, Upshaw expressed a personal frustration that the San Diego district attorney is carrying out a witch hunt. So he says, "I'm not going to say shit till the investigation's done, but I do think it's a witch hunt," which is more than saying shit.
That's a pretty good comment.
An attorney who's an expert on steroid law, a guy named Rick Collins, a Long Island defense attorney, a quote, "expert on steroid law."
He seems a smidge dirty.
I would say so. Hey, listen, guy, nobody knows more about fucking steroids than me.
Right.
You know how much time I spend? Look at these guns right now. I know you can't see it because I got a suit on, but let me get my jacket off. I'm going to flex this fucking gun for you.
This is all natural.
Look at this.
Right.
You understand? I go to the gym. People offer me steroids. I take them. I'm not going to lie to you. That's why I'm a fucking expert.
Right.
Look at the fucking veins. I'm vascular, you son of a bitch.
The rest of this is 30 chicken breasts a day.
That's all I got to do. He says, this guy says that calling the steroid angle, saying that Foley was uncontrollably attacking a guy, is, quote, "the pinnacle of absurdity." And he says, does that mean anytime someone acts violently, they should have their blood tested for anabolic steroids? True.
Yeah.
That's definitely because he's a football player,
right.
which is, I guess you can't really discriminate against that. He says he thinks the real issue is Foley and Foley's alcoholism and that sort of thing, maybe more than steroids.
Sure.
Now, Lisa Marie Gott, the most ride or die 5-day fucking
5-day friend of all time.
5-day friend I've ever heard, pleads not guilty to drunk driving and assault charges because she was shit hammered when she tried to run the guy over. Her attorney disputed Mansker's account and said that Mansker failed to properly identify himself as a police officer, leaving Foley and her to be concerned that he might be a carjacker or a crazed fan, which is a fair defense.
Logical.
It really is. Even if the guy's saying, "I'm a police officer," where's your fucking badge and lights and uniform and other cops that you
this
usually
is the most logical shit these drunk fucks have said yet.
I would say so. It turns out he shot the car twice, by the way, Mansker. So 1 in the bushes, 2 at the car, and then 2 or 3 toward him and hit him with 2. They said that Gott winced in disagreement as the prosecutor laid out his version of events. Gott's attorney said she wasn't trying to ram the officer, but was trying to reach Foley to help him after the shooting. Meanwhile, he shot. The shooting came after that. Right. And what was she trying to do? Drive over there fucking 20 feet? I'm going to drive to him rather than just walk.
I'm going to do 50 to where he's walking.
That's fucking fine. This lawyer, which I find amazing, her defense attorney, Raymond Vecchio, tells the judge, quote, "I really think it will be shown that Miss Gott acted heroically, not criminally in any way, shape, or form. She was just fighting to get to her man." She's
a drunk good Samaritan.
That's all she
after
is.
5 days of knowing this man.
She pleads not guilty to misdemeanor charges, that she took the wheel at that point. They said that the officer never identified himself sufficiently. He didn't take his badge off his belt and show them. He also said that Gott said that she coasted next to Foley as he walked and that she never endangered the officer. Any engine revving came because Gott was unfamiliar with the souped-up car.
Okay.
So anytime she touches the gas, that's what's going to happen, which honestly honestly, I could see somebody getting a car like that in the gas. Oh shit!
What the fuck is in this thing?
Holy shit! Vecchio also says Mansker shot at God. They also talk about how they shot at her.
She is
in
lucky
the car.
to be alive.
Yeah, totally. This guy's a shit shot. Vecchio, the defense attorney, also said she's scared to death. She knows these are all on trumped up charges, which I don't blame her for being worried about that. Turns out they said they didn't know whether they were romantically involved, Gott and Foley, which why the fuck else are they in a car at 3 o'clock in the morning going back to his house drunk?
They're about to be.
And they just, no shit. He did say that Gott met up with Foley after Foley attended a dinner with fellow players. That's where he was before the bar with a bunch of fellow players. Gott faces up to 5 years in prison if convicted on 2 charges of assault with a deadly weapon, including one charge that the intended victim was a police officer, which is iffy whether anybody knew that or not. She also faces 2 counts of driving under the influence. Vecchio said his client Gott is unemployed and lives with her parents in San Diego and will not be able to make her $35,000 bail. She's also being held on a $25,000 warrant out of Solano County in Northern California on charges including knowingly buying a stolen car.
Oh my God.
So she's just got fucking issues here. She's later convicted of assault with a deadly weapon and DUI. She is ordered to serve 180 days in jail for assault with a deadly weapon for the car incident, which is really iffy in my book here. This is
but how many days did she get?
180.
I mean, it's
6 months. It's good, and that's a good amount of time.
You may just fucking
you were shit faced getting in a car. You knew better than when you jumped in the passenger seat.
Maybe you just wash this. Just do your time and get out and move on.
Yeah, but the whole assault with a deadly weapon, that seems a little. I mean, they did give her a light sentence for that. It's not like she took a crowbar to a fucking old lady and started trying to work her over,
or a gun to a police officer.
Or
it's just a car.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is the time, too, October 2006. The Chargers have a rash of legal problems here. A practice squad cornerback named Marcus Curry was released after he was arrested for committing domestic violence.
Oh, boy.
Schottenheimer said that was the disappointment, and that was the 5th run-in by the law of a Charger player since April. So that's fucking crazy. They dropped that player.
Clean. Of course.
They can't. Another one here. I'm sorry, the same one. Curry was arrested following a traffic stop. He was booked into San Diego Central Jail on account of inflicting bodily injury to spousal cohabitant and held in lieu of $25,000 bail. Within 6 weeks of the Foley issue of getting shot and everything, the Chargers implemented the Safe Ride Solution program for their players and staff. It's seen as a significant step for the NFL Players Association. After players provided a credit card and proof of insurance, the players would call the main line and provide their membership number and first names. After setting up something with a driver in that particular city, the average pickup time was between 30 and 45 minutes. This is like shit Uber.
That is the worst Uber ride ever.
It's the fucking worst. You have to
45-minute wait.
And you have to go through a bunch of hoops and numbers, and once you get your proof of insurance and all this shit, then you have to wait 40 fucking minutes. Which,
sounds like cities dial-a-ride.
Oh, that's terrible. Under Safe Ride Solutions, teams would pick up anywhere from half of the tab to picking up the entire bill for players, with the individual charges remaining anonymous, which is a big deal. One of the people says for the association said, quote, the reality is if a player is out with one of our drivers, we never reported anything back that was said in the car or that happened in the car. The NFL never asked. No one asked. Everyone's concern is that the guy got home safe. No one asked us to divulge any information on what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that was a big concern, is like the league is going to use us as spies, basically.
Right. As a way to know what's going on.
If you call 3 times a week for your shit-faced car, then the league's going to fucking...
They know about
They're going to look over your shoulder and all that kind of shit. Which
they got reasons to drug test you.
There are reasons to drug test, which reasons to fuck with you, basically. Which, yeah, you know what? I would say that.
But, I mean, you're given a privilege of making gigantic amounts of money in a league that very few people get to be a part of.
Yeah.
And to just do that and play by the rules, just fucking do it.
Just do it. Be happy, then retire and have a shitload of money to live on.
Yeah.
Now, the Chargers were the first team to put Safe Ride Solutions into action. They were awarded the NFL's Winston Shell Award in 2007, given to teams that develop unique and innovative solutions. After the first year, 8 more teams signed on, giving Safe Ride Solutions.
Pick up your buddy. That's a unique fucking situation.
We'll give you a free cab so you don't drive shit-faced and get shot at 3 a.m. in front of your house by off-duty police officers. Doesn't seem like a real innovative solution.
No.
Hey, there's drunk guys driving themselves home. How the fuck could we possibly stop that? Innovative. Oh, I know. Maybe we could give them a ride. Jesus Christ.
And they're going to get a ribbon for that.
Absolutely. They did get an award.
Yeah.
December 16th, 2006, the NFL is on the defense about arrests. They're basically saying, look, this isn't this isn't it's just it's not a pattern.
No.
Once in a while people get arrested. A couple of them happen to get arrested near the same time as each other. Let's not go crazy. But there's been some issues here. DEA officials learned that Chargers players were sending large sums of money to China and believed they had a steroid smuggling case on their hands. So they were looking into that. Also, Terrence Keel, I believe he's a cornerback, was arrested for shipping codeine-based cough syrup to Texas. Authorities said that they were using codeine.
Trafficking.
Yeah, he was using that
syrup.
shit. Exactly, he was doing that shit. Also, Keel arrested on this one was arrested at the team's practice facilities on charges of possessing a controlled substance, which is not the place you want to get arrested.
What the fuck are you doing?
You don't want to get arrested at work here. Now, the Chargers say, absolutely, it's a reflection of the players and a reflection of the organization. I take it personally. Everybody's talking about what's basically a handful of players, but if you've got one or a handful, it's still a problem. It's embarrassing, and you've got to deal with it.
You're damn right.
Well, no shit, you silver-haired bastard. Did you hear how he said that? I take it personally.
Right.
Rather than, hey, I could personally help this situation, you fucking asshole.
But I've got a mortgage.
I got a mortgage. So he said at least 35 players have been arrested this year on charge that year in 2006.
In the NFL, though.
In the NFL. Yeah. Shockingly enough, Roger Goodell declined an interview for this. It was super shocking. Not from me, from those. I wouldn't be shocking if he turned it down for me.
No.
I don't know him at all, and I don't think he would know to call me back, even how to get back to me. The NFL, this is Greg Aiello, the NFL's vice president of public relations. They let him make a statement rather than Goodell.
Oh, boy.
He says, most NFL players are good citizens, and some are outstanding citizens. It's a small percentage of the 2,000 players in our league that become involved in incidents that do not reflect well on the NFL. We have policies and programs to deal aggressively with those issues, and we will continue to do so. The goal is to eliminate such negative conduct. That may not be realistic, but it's the goal. Willie Upshaw said, I don't want the Players Association leader, said, I don't want the fans to turn us off because of off-the-field behavior. It has happened in other sports, and I do not want it to happen in the NFL. I don't know if it's happened. People stop because of off-the-court behavior. They stop because of lockouts and strikes.
Right.
Because you stop watching it. It's like if you stopped watching a soap opera, you lose the thread of the story, and you don't go back to it. That's the way it is.
It's a bummer when you come back to football after a long break.
You're like,
and
who
now
the fuck is this?
There's been such a shuffle.
Yeah.
And so many players
Different
are gone.
coaches and players.
Oh, fuck.
It's fucking ridiculous. Also, they talk about Deltha O'Neal on the Bengals was stopped at a traffic checkpoint and charged with driving while intoxicated.
That guy was a menace.
He was a total menace. Marvin Lewis was super pissed. It's an embarrassment to our organization, our city, our fans. It's unacceptable. These things are not so. He went off on this tirade of fuck the. Meanwhile, he's coaching the most fucked up team with the most fucked up people. He's got Tank Johnson on his team. And he's fucking talking about. Oh, is he on the Bears? Tank Johnson. I can't remember now.
They had
it wasn't
Pac-Man
Tank.
Jones,
it was the
too.
other one. It was defensive. Oh my God, it's going to drive me crazy. Bengals defensive lineman. No, about 2004, 2005, kept getting arrested. I'll get it before the end of this episode. Don't worry. I like this too. Kansas City Chiefs president Carl Peterson says it can be difficult to predict which players will outgrow youthful mistakes. Who's a fuck up now, but not an ingrained fuck up? He said the players come to us from college sometimes with previous problems or a tendency toward problems. In other words, we don't cause at all.
Right.
No silver-haired middle-aged white man in the NFL has ever caused a problem. He says you try to make good decisions on players and their off-field habits or problems. All of us, I think, want to try to give someone a second chance if we feel they're deserving. And I think all of us also know that it's a continuing pattern. Whatever, you only get so many chances in the NFL. You've got to move on. If you get it to the point where it's a habitual thing or a repetitive thing, then you have to make a decision and say, is this really worth it?
Right.
This guy in the league really worth it? Which it's all he could have said. He did one sentence, silver-haired asshole here.
They may not have caused it, but they sure in the fuck enabled it.
Exactly. Right. Now, January 31st, 2007, Foley announces that he is suing the city of Coronado and Aaron Mansker, the officer, in a civil negligence claim.
Oh, goodness.
He's seeking to reclaim medical expenses and, quote, the loss of past and future earnings.
Yep.
Which he didn't shoot some dude who works at a warehouse.
That's true.
He shot a guy with a $10 million contract. Wrong dude to shoot. Foley pleads guilty to driving under the influence and was given 5 years of informal probation.
Wow, he got off light.
Which isn't bad at all. Then the 2007, December 14th, the San Diego District Attorney, in an investigation of the shooting of him, declares the shooting to be a legal shooting. Said that the officer was in the right here.
Wow.
June 4th, 2008. Tawana Schultz is carrying a puppy named Schnickers.
Yeah.
Okay. Which sounds sweet, right? When a neighbor yelled that pit bulls were loose. So Schultz headed back toward her house. She said, quote, I got almost to our sidewalk when they attacked us. She tried to hold on to the puppy, but the pit bulls jerked it from her hands and killed it.
Oh, my God.
Steve Foley is the owner of the pit bulls, of course. Of course he is. The attack on the woman, he's been indicted on a charge of attack by dog because he let the dogs get out and, kill a dog and hurt a woman.
Mike Foley?
I think it's Steve Foley. If for the record, Steve Foley was the one who let the dogs out. So... he's released.
Somebody alert the Baja.
Someone alert them. Someone fucking pull that one out of a gutter and the other one out of his fucking job at Costco, checking my receipt on the fucking way out, and let them know.
We know who let them out.
When you breeze past the guy at Costco, say, no thanks. By the way, sir, Steve Foley let the dogs out. Thank you, because that will be one of the Baja men with the pen in his hand, very confused, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
At 2 o'clock in the morning, cough. 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. It's 3:59.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. Dude,
ridiculous.
This is insane. This is how much people said, hey, don't stop doing crime in sports. I know you guys said it's tiring.
Right.
This is how much we like doing it, that we are that committed to it, where we do 2 goddamn live shows, meet hundreds of people, and have a great time, and have no voices. And then stay up almost 24 hours straight.
Talking about the Baja men, which have not been
a thing for 20 years.
in years.
That's how stupid we are. Foley's attorney here said that he was released on $10,000 bond. He said it was an accident that happened while Foley wasn't even home. Okay. He said, I wasn't even there with it. He wasn't even there. Right. He said, quote, it was a tragic accident, and Mr. Foley is very sorry that his neighbor and friend was injured, but these dogs were his pets. They had no previous history of aggression. It's a 3rd-degree felony.
Oh, my goodness.
Is
it really that steep?
The indictment's a 3rd-degree felony. Foley's accused of failing to secure his dogs, which they said made an unprovoked attack. Tawana Schultz suffered serious bodily injury when she was bitten on the arms and face by the pit bulls.
Oh, Jesus.
If convicted, 3rd-degree felony carries a punishment of as many as 10 years in prison.
Oh, my God.
This is crazy.
Jesus. 10 years?
10 years.
For your dogs getting out.
You weren't even home. Yeah. Fuck, man. His attorney says, quote, the fact that a dog bit someone doesn't necessarily mean a crime has been committed. I kind of would agree with that in case. He said that Foley kept 2 adult pit bulls and some puppies as pets. Nugent said the pit bulls were show dogs and pets, not fighting dogs. They had no previous history of attacks. The lawyer said, quote, it's a tragic accident. Mr. Foley feels very sorry that it happened. He had no prior problems with the dogs. It shocked him that these dogs for some reason attacked. The dogs were seized by animal control officers and later destroyed by authorities. So they were put to sleep here. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's not really their fault, but
I just hate the word
fucking know.
destroyed.
I know. I don't like that
I don't
either.
like that at all.
So we'll move on. Okay. June 19th, 2008, civil court for the shooting. This is he's suing here for Aaron Mansker, like we said. Harvey Levine told jurors in his opening statement that the 20.
You know who that is?
Whoa.
Harvey Levine?
That's his agent and lawyer.
Is that the guy from fucking TMZ?
No. That's
Harvey Levin.
Harvey.
Move on. I just saw this son of a bitch.
He was in court defending people.
Wasn't he a lawyer?
Next thing you know,
4 o'clock in the morning is not the time to be recording this.
Maybe it is. Maybe we need to be fucking.
Holy shit!
Completely.
I see Harvey Levin in there going. It was not him. It was.
Let me tell you about the Kardashians
Right.
and what an injustice this case is. I need to tell you both of these things. This is an injustice to my
I need
client.
to tell you about all the times Kanye ran into a fucking stop sign with his face. This
Oh
is
my
so
God,
dumb. All right,
that's
go
amazing.
on.
He also said. He said that, quote, he, meaning Mansker, said he himself wouldn't have stopped without being shown a badge. Neither would his wife, because that's, I guess, in the afterwards, he's like, yeah, I guess I wouldn't have stopped unless I got shown a badge.
Yeah.
But he also said that Mansker, by shooting Foley, ruined his dream of, the NFL and his big contract. He said, quote, the attorney, it's a story about the destruction of a dream, the crushing of a career. It's the reason is so tragic because it was totally unnecessary, which I kind of agree with.
Yeah.
Foley he got himself to cry in court when
Oh,
shit was
no.
being said. Big giant dude,
Yeah.
crying tears,
Crying about no more football.
Man, that's fucking crazy. They showed the jury photos of his fucking playing days and all that, and look how great he looks.
Yeah.
And they had him stand up and limp around about how fucked up his
no.
legs are. And they said he should be playing football right now
Right.
instead. He can barely walk. It's fucked up, man. He said that he will present evidence that shows that Mansker did not believe Foley had a weapon, that he was full of shit about the reaching in the reaching into the waistband. They said that the judge said that jurors won't hear evidence that he was reprimanding that Mansker apparently in a prior incident was reprimanded. This is in his first 6 months, 8 months as a cop.
Already
Was reprimanded by violating policy by driving 90 miles an hour and recklessly in another
guy's a
chase.
nut.
He thinks he's fucking. He thinks he's Cobra. This
Right.
guy. He's a fucking asshole. He's one of these guys who thinks he's gonna go out. He ended up winning an award from Mothers Against Drunk Driving for the most DUI arrests in like any county in the whole. He's Mr. Yeah, he's that guy.
Yeah.
A little too much. He was the hall monitor.
Right.
He's one of fucking those
You can
guys
sniff
here.
out a guy drinking beer.
Exactly. The judge also decided that the jurors would not hear testimony that Mansker pursued drivers he thought might be intoxicated because his father was killed by a drunk driver when he was 13.
So he's got a chip on
He's
his
got
shoulder.
a personal vendetta against this show, which I understand, but
fine.
still.
Yeah.
They had a San Diego plastic surgeon testify about his treatment. He said that he suffered severe swelling of muscles in his lower leg. There was a possibility of amputation at one point, they said. They had to make long incisions in his leg, and they repaired him with skin grafts.
Fuck.
They said he will have significant physical deficits for the rest of his life. An orthopedic surgeon testified that the bullet wound to his left knee damaged nerves that govern function in his calf, ankle, and foot. He said injuries would prevent Foley from being able to play football or even working as a coach because he likely wouldn't be able to demonstrate techniques even to anybody. Two of his former teammates here, Lorenzo Neal and Olshansky, testified that Foley was a student of the game, a hard worker, and a guy that fellow players looked up to his work ethic. And he was a great. He worked really hard. He played as hard as he could. Neal said, "quote That's how you stay in this league as long as we have. Steve works hard off the field. You just can't go out there and turn it on." Now, this cop here, they have some unflattering shit to say about him. They ask in the hearing for Foley's companion, the Lisa Gaunt incident, Mansker was asked, quote, other than your verbal command, how does he know you're a police officer? Mansker replied, verbal, I guess. That's not enough.
Nope.
Anybody could come up to you at 3 a.m. and say, stop, I'm a police officer.
Nope.
That's not enough. You have to have some proof of that.
Right.
That's the whole point.
I'm too small for that shit.
Yeah, no shit, right? Mansker then asked Mansker, wouldn't it have been better to show your badge? He said, probably would have been better, yes. You fucking think? That's the first. I have a badge. Let me show you who I am. Jesus Christ. Have you ever seen a fucking movie? It's the first thing they do.
I have proper identification right here.
You knock on the door. You're a cop. The door opens. The badges are out already. Here, look at what we have. We're fucking cops. Don't close the door in our face. So they had in a photo taken by sheriff's deputies of Mansker after the shooting, his badge was visible, but in a deposition, he finally admitted that his badge was covered by his T-shirt at the time of the shooting and was not even fucking visible. Wow. So fucking stupid. Also, Foley's attorneys found paperwork saying that Coronado hired Mansker after 10 other law enforcement agencies had previously rejected his applications for employment. 2 agencies cited his immaturity and lack of life experience, which is exactly what you would say about someone who chased a guy down and shot him in the street for no reason. Right. During his first week on the job, documents showed while off duty and driving his own car, his speeds were calculated to be in excess of 90 miles an hour. He wrote in the report, quote, my conduct was viewed by another and seen as reckless, which I would say so. Yeah. He previously worked as a college service officer and was reprimanded for his quote, his negative attitude, impulsiveness to make decisions based on emotion instead of careful thought, and violations of several Palomar College Police Department policies.
Fuck.
Yes. He says in court, quote, as he started reaching into his waistband with his right hand turning toward me, I fired 2 shots. Before the incident, he kept a MySpace page that he then got rid of, but they found the archive of it. He called himself Superman, this Mansker. Foley's attorneys argued that he has a bizarre fascination over identification with the superhero Superman, and that he is overzealous and pursues drunk drivers with more vigor than should be, basically. Right. It's funny because they say, the press talk about how much more information comes out in a civil trial, because more is allowed than in a criminal trial. So you got to get all this information that wasn't admissible in a criminal trial.
It can really damage a character.
I would say so here. So a July 2nd, 2008, a conditional settlement is reached in the civil case involving Foley and Mansker. After a meeting with the attorneys in his chambers, Judge Richard E.L. Strauss dismissed the jurors. And after dismissing the juror, he said that this has been one of the more interesting cases. Harvey Levine said, quote, I think we're very satisfied with the presentation of the facts and the resolution of the case. The parties agreed to follow Judge Irving's recommendations. So this whole thing, they're happy. They're happy that it's over with because he needs money and he's tired of doing this. Foley was scheduled to testify Wednesday. It was been the first time that he would publicly be able to tell his story, and that day they were like, fuck that, we're settling. We are not having this guy limp his big ass up on the stand and cry fucking tears that he lost $10 million and all of his dreams and hopes. This isn't going to be good for us. Let's just fucking settle.
And the city are going to lose a lot of money.
Yeah, I would say so. They said that Foley was able to walk back to the judge's chambers with his attorney, but he didn't want to at first. His mother had to tell him to try to work something out. She said, quote, it's an important case to him. A lot of facts came out in the trial that hit nerves on him. His emotions are raw. He had a lot at stake, and he's had a lot taken from him. Which is fair, I would say at that point. They talked to some of the jurors who were dismissed afterwards, and basically they all said that they were giving him a fucking fortune. Right. This guy, Randy McClellan, said that he believes Foley was wrongfully shot. He said, quote, I believe the officer was way out of line. I believe Mr. Foley should be compensated for what he went through. It pretty much ended his career, and he was a great football player, based on the pictures they showed him of that. McClellan recalled hearing lawyers discussing a $10 million figure, a amount that he said would be a justified compensation. The juror would have given him that much. Considering what he was making as a football player, that would be reasonable, he said. Foley, quote, made the mistake of drinking and driving, but he's paid for that already, and I think the officer was way out of line, so they should pay. Finally, the city agrees to a settlement with Foley for $5.5 million.
That's a big settlement.
It's a big settlement, less than he would have made playing football,
right,
but still a big settlement for the city, I would say. September 29, 2009, the Chargers sue Foley. The San Diego Chargers file a lawsuit against him to make him repay a third of his signing bonus.
Oh, no.
Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Was that $3 million?
Yeah, I guess so. From that one contract.
Right.
The 8-page lawsuit filed said that they want him to repay a third of his signing bonus, reporting, and playing bonus, totaling more than $416,000. That's the amount an arbitrator ruled that he owes the club following the terminating of his career by an off. So he got shot, and he owes them the bonus back. So he had to pay back $416,000. So he can take that off his $5.5 million, which is funny. They waited till he got the money to then sue him, so they didn't look too fucking shitty, even though they still look shitty. They put him on injured reserve right away, they said, so they didn't have to pay him his roster bonus. Right. They sent him a letter in early 2007 just asking him to pay back the money. They sent him like a polite bill, and he didn't respond at all. They were like, he was like, I'm gonna fucking pay. I didn't buy that. I don't know what you're saying. Yeah, shit, fuck that.
Wasn't me.
So he has to pay that. An arbitrator ordered him to pay $416,666 plus interest, which will probably be a little bit too on that amount of money. So, holy shit, that's what a fucking mess so far.
Unbelievable.
He's gotten, I feel like, half bad for this guy, and he's also a fuck up, and he's also a drunk mess, but he's also super lucky at the same time of having the worst luck at the same time.
Shit pending, too.
He's got shit pending. I mean, between him, the Chargers, even I feel bad for all these people, Jimmy.
Yeah.
All these fucking people, but not nearly as bad as I feel for Steve Foley, Executive Vice President at Solaris Aviation in Las Vegas. He's a decorated naval aviation guy. And now he's in a safety consulting firm. Stephen Foley, senior property underwriter at QBE Insurance in Leeds, UK. Stephen Foley, managing director and head of U.S. corporate banking in the greater Boston area.
U.S. Bank.
For banking at TD Bank. Huge deal there. Steve Foley, a minor league baseball outfielder that played from 2000 to 2004. And goddamn it, worst of all, Steve Foley, ex-NFL player, former Broncos safety Steve Foley, is a managing partner in FS Land Development in Greenwood Village. He played his entire NFL career with the Broncos from 76 to 86. This poor bastard. And this poor bastard also is part of the concussion lawsuit, too. So he's had his bell rung a few times, too.
Jesus.
And he's being confused for an asshole. Yes. And apparently February 19th, 2011, a bit of good news for Foley. He's been absolved in court of blame in a personal injury lawsuit involving the dog attack. Prosecutors in Texas dismissed the case against him. There was a 3-year-old case at this point. The woman who was bitten in the face and arms and had her dog died said that she was tired of the whole thing, and it was her desire to move on from the situation.
Really?
She just didn't want to deal with it anymore. I guess it was too much. She said it was too much pain for her. 2017 NFL Draft last year, the Jaguars select Alabama offensive lineman Cameron Robinson, who is Foley's son. That's his son right there, with the 34th pick of the draft, too. That is top of the second round. He's the son of Steve Foley, as we know. He said that his son said, Cameron said that Foley has given him some advice on how to handle the recruiting process. He said, it's been very impactful, everything I'm doing. He's been through before. He's just telling me to stay humble and continue working. Right after that, Cameron Robinson was arrested on charges of possession of a controlled substance, illegal possession of a firearm, and possession of a stolen gun while home in where? Monroe, Louisiana.
Yes.
Fucking Jesus Christ,
Guns
the cycle
and
continues.
drugs?
Guns and
Jesus.
drugs. District attorney declined to prosecute, and there's a belief that it was just a one-time incident. So if you fuck up, go to Louisiana, Monroe, fire shots into the air, sell
You'll get away with
drugs,
it.
have stolen guns, and they will not fucking prosecute you. And that, my friends, is Steve Foley, A Tale of Craziness, and that's a wild, unlucky life. That's a lot of crazy shit that happened to that man.
All buckled in from 2000 to present.
Isn't that nuts? In that one little time?
15-year stretch, he I'll bet he's almost broke.
He's got to be by now. He had to pay back that money.
Yeah.
He's got. I mean, who knows what he's up to?
Even with that money, it puts him down to $5 million. If he's smart, he can make that stretch the rest of his life.
At least invest, have a business or something.
He's really shown that he's not smart.
I don't feel like
I'm not
foresight and intelligence. I'm not that confident in his deal.
I'm not confident in his ability to be a good person.
No, not at all. He's a goddamn disaster. If you like that disastrous mess of a story, you can do us a favor and tell us about it, or just tell the rest of the world about it over on iTunes. Give us 5 stars. Tell us you're following instructions, following directions. We do not care. Once again, if you want to be a superstar, mega, ultra perfect person, you can do that by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports and making a donation there, or you can make a one-time donation over at PayPal using our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of the show, you can do that lots of ways. You can do that on Twitter at Crime and Sports, Facebook at Facebook.com/Crime and Sports, and of course, crimeinsports@gmail.com. We changed the Instagram to Small Town Murder because fuck it, it's got twice as many listeners. Sorry, but we still put Crime and Sports stuff up there, so follow that, and you'll get that sort of shit. With that said, let us talk about the finest, most wonderful group of people that keep us afloat, and honestly keep this being a viable thing for us to do. Jimmy, hit us with the list of the people that we love.
First, we have Susan Deguia. I think that's how you pronounce it. Deguia. She donated on Patreon. Yes, absolutely. She donated on Patreon and PayPal.
Whoa. Thank you.
Ridiculous.
That's
Thank
incredible.
you so
Thank
much,
you so
Susan,
much.
for all your help. Alex Marchi, who came to all those shows.
Oh, that's awesome.
The guy's
dude.
amazing.
Yeah.
He donated
3 shows
a nice
he came
amount.
to.
Thank you so much,
man.
Alex. That was
really
sweet of you.
Awesome.
Susan Randlett also gave us a nice donation. And, of course, Christiane Costaldi. Those are our executive producers this week who come through.
Thank you.
Goddamn, every week there's somebody that really saves our asses.
I have no idea how much
Isn't it bananas
it is.
how being podcasters, we still have people that legitimately save our ass every week.
You do.
It's crazy.
That's the crazy part. Thank you. That's why we do this at the end, because we really we're not just saying it to like, oh, we got to say the people's name. We really want to say
really
thank
want you to know that
from
you
the
did
bottom
this
of
for
our
us.
hearts.
Yeah.
We love this. Is our favorite part of the show.
Dana Bartram, Elizabeth Wolfinger, Katie Polis, Jenna Edwards, Chandel Whitney. She has a daughter over there in Korea serving the country.
That's right.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Chandel.
good for you.
Stephen
Thank you.
Scattergood, Natala Drew, Emmy Dumont, Cody Everett, Max Joshua, Ross Olson. Congratulations.
Hey,
she said yes.
She said yes.
Good
Awesome.
for you, buddy.
Good for you.
Mackenzie Boland, Victoria Jackman, Jake LeBeer, Cappy with no last name, Sarah Willis, Mary Faust, Olivia Rowling, Jade Hughes, Gresham Fenton, David Wittes. Yes, Wittes. Mariella Rosas. She came to a show. Thank you, Mariella. She actually came to Sacramento, I believe. Under the Sea Fabrics. I'm not sure what it is, but find it and donate. Buy her shit.
Yeah, buy her waterproof fabric.
Whatever
They're
it
not
is.
waterproof, but it's called Under the Sea Fabric. We don't know. They might be waterproof fabrics. We have no idea,
it's
but probably
mermaid
not.
shit. I'm sure.
Yeah, buy mermaid clothes from her.
Do it.
Or whatever they
Gygax
sell.
fan? I forget what Gygax is. Damn it. It was pointed out to me what it was, and I have forgotten, but they donated again. So thank you. Stacy Rushworth, Ted Cyrus. Every week the guy comes through. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Ted. Chelsea Girlyman or Girlyman? Girlman?
Whatever.
It might be Girlyman.
Hey,
it's
you
possible.
know what? Good for you.
Yeah,
Thank you for. We love you. We don't care.
We appreciate you. Craig Ventura, Gretchen Oswald, Lily Hill, Kate Myers, Abigail Gonder, Tracy Tilley, Nina Tedeschi, Laura Kopp. She's the lawyer down in Texas that sent us shirts and such.
Oh yeah, thank
you, Laura. Jessica Valley, Jeffrey Geiler, Stacy Langto, Lank Lankto, Chris England, Sarah Fletcher, Bradley Kaus, Amber Wolf, Curtis Vacek. That might be an L.
Hey, there you go.
I think it's a C. I think I fucked
Just
that
bad
up.
handwriting,
Probably.
not bad pronunciation.
Araya Strauss, Josh Jones, Jesse Hartman, Molly Glenn, Ian McKay, Cassandra Meyer, Stacy Ridgenbeek. Ah,
there we go.
Risenbeek? No. I don't. Andrea M. Schneider.
gave
Moving on. Bail. Sarah Toasty, Andrew Welmers, Richard DeGraw. Yes, DeGraw.
Yeah.
Karen Lemiasi.
Like
That's
Ted
it.
DiBiase?
Yes, I think it's Lamiasi.
By the way, Bruno Sammartino died today. That's
horrible,
nothing to do
right?
with this, but
82
fuck,
years old.
man. I
Poor guy.
love Bruno. He's from the same place my grandmother's from.
Is that right?
Move on.
That's fantastic. Kyle Juarez, Courtney Luthan Dongs. No, it's not Dongs.
Luthan Dongs.
Luthan Donges.
There you go.
That's it.
Don't call her Luthan Dongs.
It's not Dongs. There's an E in there. All right. Marianne Hender, James Acelia. He comes through every week also. Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Jordan Selmer, Emily Shit. Emily
Shit.
No.
Thanks, Emily Shit. We appreciate everything you do.
You're fantastic,
All
Emily.
of your shit is highly appreciated. We'll just say that.
Shearhorst. That's it. Emily Shearhorst, Jackie Fiegel, Taylor Stapleton, Vanessa LaFoya, Sarah Gilbo, every goddamn week.
Thank you so much,
Sarah.
Sarah.
You're fantastic.
You seriously.
Sandy Marshall, True Crime Clothing. I don't know what that is. Go find them. Michelle Jolly, over in, I believe that's Australia. Paul Roost, who makes those fucking memes. The guy is fantastic. LK Bar on Nute.
Okay.
Shit. I believe it.
Hey.
Sarah Peterson.
I'll buy that.
Jacob Herbigust. No. Hebrecketsy.
What the fuck is going on?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Tom Gallagher, Heather Chamness, Taryn Winnie, Rondell Merrill, Sarah LaPlante, Jennifer Ott, Jessica Hartke, Jason in New Mexico, Lori Murphy, Austin Sun, Mindy Beganat, Gail Nelson, and the last page. My fuck, this is amazing. You guys are fantastic.
Thank you so much. Seriously, guys, this is
fantastic.
Thank you.
Elaine Martin, Joe Bescombe, Tom Barry, Matthew Pauk. That's it.
Sure.
No, it's not. P. Daphne Cohen, Victoria. This one is a mother. Victoria Kivyatsky. No.
Victoria Cavatelli. Move on.
I think it's Kavyatsky. No. It's
Thank
KVA.
you.
It's KVIAT, KVO. No.
What?
It's a lot. I think it's Kavyatsky.
Okay,
I think so.
I'll buy that.
No,
You have confused me thoroughly.
Good.
Okay,
Bianca.
good.
Bianca.
Now we're on the same page.
Bianca Elena. Rob Maggs. Miller Hines. The Curiosity Report. I think that's a podcast. I'm pretty sure of it. Megan Guza. Nate the Ape. Betty. Paul Saunders. Christine Toronto. Oh, damn it. Christine
You're on
Torrance.
a roll there. You had got like 3 right.
Adrian and Robert Castorina, TJ Shaw, Braylon Rogers, Lori with no last name, Jennifer Slack, Michael with no last name, Abby Sten, Chanel Renee Peguera. Yes. Chanel Renee Peguera.
Nailed it.
I think so. Stephanie Hudson, Jeanette Craig, Travis Wood, Kathleen Thill is sticking around. Thank you, Kat. I appreciate
Kathleen.
it.
You're awesome.
Sun City. She's wonderful.
That's so
Brad
cool.
Gillis, Josh Thurber, Patrick Hooten, Shauna Rogers, Anne-Marie Hoyt, Brianna Callanan, Jamie Collins, Alexandria Gonzalez, Kathy G1. I think that's right. I don't know.
Let's hope so.
Silk BH. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Or Silky BH. John Craven, Alexia Malloy, Tommy Craig, Gretchen Pisher.
Okay.
I think so.
Sure.
Connie and Sean Young, Katie Potter, Aaron Anderson, Lindsay Day, Craig McGeechan, Kat Rosenblatt, Aaron Anderson, I've said, Nathan Abbott, Dave Hartman, Chuck Brookman, The Awkward Human, John Curry, Joseph Stafford, and Jill Aspermonte.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you
so much. Bottom of our hearts, honestly.
Yeah.
Thank you. You keep us afloat, and it's been great traveling and going to these shows and seeing you guys.
Meeting you guys is amazing.
And meeting you, and you've been so nice to us, and you guys have brought us gifts and shit, and you guys brought me devil dogs. And
It's crazy what they're bringing
You're
us.
just so nice to us, and we just can't tell you how much we appreciate it. We really can't.
The personal gifts are
Thank
really
you.
fucking incredible.
We can't thank you enough, and we honestly can't. We're blown away by it.
Yeah.
So what if a person like this, maybe they want to get a hold of a guy like you and tell you you something. Well, how could
Some
they
of
do
them
that,
that
Jimmy?
may want to, you can find me at WhismanSucks, WHISMAN Sucks, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Thank you guys for everything. We really appreciate it. What about you?
Definitely. You could find me at Jimmy P is funny, or if you want to get crazy, just copy and paste my last name and use it like that. You don't want to try to spell it. You will spell it wrong because everybody goddamn does. That said, wow, it's been fun. It's been a wild week, and we're exhausted. It's currently 4:19 in the morning when we are wrapping up.
I'm going to go get on a plane here in a couple hours.
You're getting on a plane.
Oh, my God.
We got to the club to do our shows at 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
To do 7 o'clock and 10 o'clock shows. So it has just been a long day of recording.
It's a whirlwind day.
My voice is shot. This is the best I got right now. It's all
Nobody
gravelly.
on this plane better expect me to talk to them.
You are screwed right there.
Not happening.
But never mind all that, guys. We can't wait. Next week, we are off next week.
Yes.
Both shows off next week. Scheduled maintenance. We just have no time. We have to tour, and we're out of town for like 9 straight days, and we don't have time to edit and do all that, and we wouldn't be able to get it up, and we don't want to do a half-assed episode.
That's the truth.
We will come back strong. Crime and Sports, I'll make it a famous person.
There you
and,
go.
Small Town Murder will be a goddamn doozy, too.
Can't wait.
We'll do this shit right. Until then, everybody, live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.